The 10-game stay at home, without a doubt, is built with obstacles. One way to get past those obstacles is to come out swinging. The Phillies offense came out swinging, and the swings came from every spot in the lineup. The first-place Reds allowed a season-high 12 runs, and the Phillies delivered the first W of the homestands. One game down on this homestand in a very big way for the Phillies and their fans. A whole lot of offense last night against the Cincinnati Reds. Tonight, it is game number 2, and the Phils' success against the Reds in recent years, well, it's been rather impressive. Look at the wins in a row for the Phils against Cincinnati. Look at the batting average, the runs scored, the home runs, and yes, even the earned run average is kind of like the old days. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy. Aloha, Chris Wheeler. Tonight, Cliff Lee gets the baseball for the Phillies. He's trying to end an 11-game home losing streak here at Citizens Bank Park in Wheels. He's hoping for the same kind of run support that Roy Halladay had last night.
Yeah, he should be able to win with that many runs. Halladay certainly appreciated it, Tom, because he gave up 5 and still had an easy win last night. Phillies played probably their best offensive game of the year when you look at all the extra base hits, the home runs, the walks that were in there, and also the fact they had to come from behind to take the lead, to tie the game. They fell behind early. Ryan Howard hit this home run to deep right center field. He's starting to swing the bat really well. Looks like his timing's there. Eric Kratz, he continues to wear it out here in this ballpark. He is a tremendous hitter here at Citizens Bank Park. Hit that home run to deep left center field. And then the Phillies just started to really come after these guys. Chase Utley doubles to left center field. Juan Pierre had a couple stolen bases. Dominic Brown with a 2-run double down the right field line, and the Phillies were on their way to taking the lead there and then never giving it back as they would add on some more runs later. John Mayberry did that with a home run down the left field line. He had a big game. So many guys up and down the lineup swung the bats great last night. Now you look at a comparison after 122 games last year, and what jumps out at you? The numbers are almost the same, but you go back and think about the pitching this year. The starters haven't been the same. The bullpen has not been good. And the other thing that I like to kick in there, too, is the way the Phillies have not caught the ball this year. That's one of those unseen things that maybe their error total isn't real high, but they have not played good defense here this year. They've given up extra outs in an inning, and that's contributed to a tough season.
Yeah, with the 5 consecutive division crowns, they've always had the best pitching and the best defense in the National League. Well, tonight it is game 2 of this 4-game series between the Phils and the Cincinnati Reds. Yep, Cliff Lee will get the start, 22nd of the year. He'll be opposed by Homer Bailey, who also has been plagued by the home run ball this year for the Cincinnati Reds, but he has won 10 games on the season. Last time out, Cliff Lee struck out 12. He was in and out of the strike zone in a great way. He still wound up not getting the victory. Lineups at first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Toyota. Every new Toyota purchase comes with Toyota Care. By Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. And by Independence Blue Cross. We're creating a more coordinated healthcare system that is built around you. Independence Blue Cross. Changing the game. Cliff Lee as he goes after a victory tonight. Victory number 3. That's it, just 3. He's 2-7 with a 3.87 earned run average. The folks settling in for tonight's ball game. Let's take a look at the Reds starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at shortstop, Zach Kozart. Drew Stubbs, the center fielder, bats second. Brandon Phillips hits third, followed by Ryan Ludwig and Jay Bruce. Scott Rowland is the third baseman. He'll bat sixth. The bottom third of Todd Frazier, Ryan Hannigan, and Homer Bailey. And they'll face Phillies left-hander Cliff Lee, the 33-year-old from Benton, Arkansas. A 3.87 earned run average. He's allowed a hit per inning pitched. He's had nearly a strikeout per innings pitched, and he hasn't walked a whole lot of guys. So, Wheels, why is he only won 2 games?
What is it? This is April 21st, right? With 2 wins. Well, it's been, as Charlie would say, and I got him to say it again on his show tonight, it's just unreal what's been happening with Cliff Lee. It really is. Well, the thing we put there in the middle of the scouting report is keep the ball in the ballpark. That's one of the problems. He's had a lot of difficulty with home runs this year and at key points in ball games, unfortunately, that have really hurt him. Both these guys, in fact, tonight have thrown a lot of home run balls, and the ball was flying out of here during batting practice, so keep it down if you can.
Yeah, he's allowed 11 home runs in his last 5 starts, which is a span of 36 2/3 innings of work.
Time now for our Nissan keys to tonight's game. Hard to find a prettier night. It is really gorgeous here. And how about Cliff Lee will win at home here tonight and keep swinging the bats. Last night was fun to watch.
Phillies last night had 7 extra base hits in their victory over the Reds. They fell behind a couple of different times, but were able to outslug one of the better offensive teams in the National League. So the first pitch of the night to Zach Kozart, and it's taken for a strike. We're underway. Kozart was 1 for 5 last night with a run scored and a base hit. He's hit in 7 consecutive games. He's got some really good numbers, not only for a Rookie of the Year candidate, but just overall for a shortstop. They're not dominant average-wise, but the power numbers, home runs, doubles, those are pretty good. Breaking ball in the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I say he's really been good at shortstop too. Very dependable. Just watching him play last night, nothing flashy about anything he does out there. You look up, the guys are making right turns when the ball's hit to him. That's all you want.
Lee has his signs. The 1-2 pitch. Just missed a little high, and it's 2-2. Lee in his last outing struck out 12. That was against the Milwaukee Brewers team that also is one of the better offensive teams power-wise in the league. And there's a really good changeup. 1 out, first strikeout here in the first.
Yeah, they threw him some off-speed stuff last night to Roy Halladay. And Cliff Lee comes out with a 2-2 changeup there and gets him. Not many pitchers do you want to see throw changeups on a 2-2 count, because then you walk into a 3-2 if you don't get it over. Cliff Lee's one of those guys, doesn't matter. He'll throw 3-2 when he threw 2-2.
There's Doc sitting in front of Cole Hamels. Doc last night, he had trouble commanding his cutter more than anything else, but still gutted it out and was able to pick up the victory.
The first inning was really big. No swing there on the appeal to C.B. Buckner. For him to get out of that first inning with just 2, and obviously they helped him with the base running mistake. That really helped change the game.
2-0 the count. The count to Drew Stubbs. Didn't play last night. It's a strike at the knees. 2-1.
They've tried to lead this guy off because he can fly, but he just keeps swinging and missing. They say, and now when he hits second, for whatever reason, he's better. And the Reds haven't been able to figure out why.
One of the problems that he has is that he strikes out a lot.
Swinging and missing. That's what he does. And you know, they wanted to keep leading him off because he's so fast that he can do some things when you get him on.
2-2 pitch. Ground ball over to third. A foul ball. Kevin Franzen makes the start at third tonight. Placido Polanco was over there last night.
He's one of those gliders when he runs. He's a very good outfielder. There's Polanco. A very good center fielder. And when you look out there, he looks like he already has 2 steps. Can really cover a lot of ground.
One of the numbers that's really drastically taken a turn for the worse for Stubbs is average against fastballs. Just 231. And he takes a cutter off the outside corner there, and it's 3-2. On deck hitter is Brandon Phillips. Stubbs' lifetime is 3 for 7 against Cliff Lee.
He has some power, too.
Late on a high fastball, and it remains 3-2. Yeah, think about the top 3 hitters in this lineup combined. They have 40 home runs, and then, 3 of them together.
Yeah, and then you go to Ludwig and Bruce, and they both have 25 apiece. Their ballpark is a really good home run hitter's ballpark, no doubt about it.
There's Ryan Ludwig, who's a heck of a story this year for the Reds. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lee. He got Cozart on a changeup, and he came back and got Stubbs on a changeup. Yeah, there are 2 outs here at the top of the first.
Yeah, using his changeup very effectively here. Real good. Anytime you see a team that hits as many home runs as this team hits, you know they are a good fastball hitting team. So throw them a lot of off-speed stuff.
Yeah, last game he threw a lot of curveballs. It was the first time in a while that he was able to get his curveball over for strikes. And that was a good thing, and they would like him to keep on handling his soft stuff, whether it be the changeup or the curve, because it makes everything else seem so much better. Brandon Phillips is 2 for 4 in last night's game. He swings at the first pitch, and he hits it well. Deep to right center field, and that one is off the scoreboard. Mayberry will play it, and it's a 2-out double for Brandon Phillips.
You thought that was a home run. Phillips could have been on third base on that, the way it bounced off the wall. 2 outs, not as big a deal, but still, he was Cadillacing a little bit, I think. He's thinking that's out in our yard, so it's got to be out here. I don't know. See if he runs. No, he thought it was a home run. Got a pitch down to hit there. He's watching it. Now he starts to pick it up a little bit, and then right about there he says, oh, that thing's off the wall. I better get going here.
It was 3/4 of the way up off the wall.
Yeah, well, that's why he thought it was a home run.
Oh, runner in scoring position now for Ryan Ludwig. Ludwig is having a fantastic year. 25 home runs, 69 runs batted in.
You talk about a fastball hitter. Here's one.
There's a strike, and with a fastball, it's 0-1. Back on the 13th of June, Ludwig was hitting .201 with just 27 runs batted in. Well, since that time, right around the same time that Joey Votto went down and was out of the lineup, he just turned it on.
Well, he's been bouncing around the last few years. Anybody could have had him.
Little bloop down the right field line. Brown is in and makes the running grab, and the side is retired. He had a long way to go to track that fly ball. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position. On to the bottom of the first. Reds nothing, Phillies coming up. Let's take a look at the Phil's starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. It's your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Juan Pierre, the left fielder, bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard, the first baseman. John Mayberry's in center field again. He'll bat fifth. Dominic Brown again bats sixth. Kevin Franzen makes the start tonight. He's over at third base hitting seventh. Eric Kratz, the best power-hitting 8-hole hitter in the league, is doing the catching, and Cliff Lee will bat ninth, of course, and they'll face right under Homer Bailey, 26 years old, 10 wins on the year, high ERA, 163 hits and 147 innings.
Having a very difficult August after a tremendous month of July.
First pitch to Rollins is low.
Fastball slider guy for the most part. There you see the numbers on him, and his ERA since July the 31st, 8.24. Lifetime against the Phillies, 0-4. Three of those are 0-3. He's lost 3 games here in this ball, or 3 games here, and 1 in Cincinnati was a no decision. I think that's what it was. For the most part, he's pitched against the Phillies here, and they've hit him pretty well.
1-1 the count to Rollins, and Rollins takes low 2-1. There have been some stories the last few days about the number of innings that Bailey has thrown. He's thrown 147, and they're wondering if he's just flat out tired. 2-1 the count to Jimmy Rollins. And Rollins chops it foul past Sam Perlazzo.
Another big hard-throwing right-hander from Texas who for some reason wears number 34.
Who would that be for, Will?
Let's see. Why would they do that, I wonder?
I think it's amazing that kids this age still wear 34 in honor of Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, they grew up idolizing Nolan Ryan. Got them from their parents.
The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Matt Lewandowski, a Mountie from New Jersey. Phillies hit a home run to this ball game, and Matt will win $100. Matt, you would not be able to use that entire last name if you took the SATs. Brandon Phillips bobbles for just his 4th error of the year.
See, he thought he had a hurry on that play because of Jimmy Rollins running, and Rollins ran that ball out right out of the chute from home plate. Phillips hurries and boots it. See right here now, he's coming out of the box in a hurry there. Phillips sees that, and he's coming after it hard and kicks it. That's one of the many things that can happen when you run hard out of the batter's box. You can force errors, you can force mistakes on the defense. Now he figured he was out as he's running down the line, and then all of a sudden he realizes that thing was kicked.
Well, so he's aboard. Rollins is, and Juan Pierre is the batter. Pierre had a good night last night. He was 3 for 4. Rolling his way in on the grass at third, and the first pitch outside, 1-0.
No sign of a bunt there, so it's not like they're going to give up an out, at least on that pitch, on a sacrifice.
1 ball, no strikes the count. And a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And try and give Pierre a chance to pull the ball in the hole, which he doesn't do that often, but it seems like when he needs to, he can do it. If he'll get something middle in, and that's why he didn't swing at that.
Oh, Rowland is still weighing on the grass at third.
Yeah, Scott Rowland's not going to give up on the fact that he could bunt here.
Inside, 2-1.
Now he really is in a good spot to pull the ball.
So 2 balls and 1 strike the count to Pierre. Overall hitting .312 with a home run and 22 runs batted in. And a throw over to first. Kind of interesting. Homer Bailey is like a lot of pitchers in the league. They get comfortable with certain things. And Murph, it seems like Homer Bailey is more comfortable not with Ryan Hannigan but with Devin Mesoraco as his catcher.
Yeah, and he's not going to have a chance to throw to him tonight because Mesoraco is serving the first of a 2-game suspension. But you're right, we've seen it a little bit in town, at least last year with Vance Worley and Brian Schneider, as Juan Pierre sends that one to center field. But yeah, if you look at the numbers, it is a small sample size, but with 22 games with Mesoraco, his ERA is 3.95. He's got 103 strikeouts against just 39 walks, and opponents are batting just .274 against him. And then you look at the numbers with Hannigan behind the plate. Now it is just 2 games, but his ERA balloons to almost 7, and opponents are hitting close to .350 against him. So it is something that we'll keep our eyes on tonight, and hopefully it'll work in the Phillies' favor tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Folks wonder, is it because one guy's a better defensive catcher than the other? Well, probably not. Hannigan's a better defensive catcher, probably by a long ways. Sometimes it's just personalities, how guys handle guys.
Yeah, because Hannigan, from what we understand from people around the Reds, calls the game really, really well. So that doesn't make any sense, those numbers.
Well, we would point out that it is a very small sample. So it's just 2 games, but it is something to keep your eye on.
Yeah. We saw it, like Murph said, with Brian Schneider and Vance Worley last year. 1 ball, no strikes the count to Chase Utley. 1 for 4 in last night's game. Hit the ball on the nose most of the time. And Chase takes a strike at the knees. 1-1. Chase overall hitting .247 with 8 home runs and 23 runs batted in.
Yeah, he's hit the ball hard last few times out. He doesn't have a whole lot of hits to show, but he's hit it hard all over the place.
One other thing that he's been doing, he's been walking a lot, which is why his on base percentage is high. 22 walks in his last 30 games. He's also been hit by a pitch during that stretch. So
he's never been afraid to take pitches and hit behind in the count. But when you're taking a lot of pitches the way that he is, and they're not strikes, and you're hitting ahead in the count, can make you a much better hitter. Really chance to center some.
Rollins leads off first, and a throw over. It's low, but handled by Frazier. Rollins has stolen 20 bases. He's been caught 4 times.
Want to leave the hole open, probably, still with only 1 out for Chase. At least see if they can get a first and third out of this. See all the room he has to hit a ball through. That's the end of his lead.
Not a bad lead.
No, it's a good lead, but that's the end of it. That plays that close at first. 13 out of 16 is stolen on Homer Bailey this year.
Well, he is kind of long legs, long arms to the plate.
Well, at one point he goes 147 on his times.
There he goes. Pitches pulled through the hole on the right side. Rollins will continue on to third. Now Utley continues to hit the ball hard. This time he does have something to show for it. First and third with 1 out. Here in the bottom of the first for Ryan Howard.
And that's good. You get ahead in the count and you go looking for something you can hook in the hole. When you're a left-handed hitter and there's a man at first base. Now Jimmy Rollins is stealing the bag there, and it just so happens that Chase hits it in the hole, and Bruce, who can really throw, doesn't even have to charge that ball real hard because he knows the guy's going to be at third base.
Well, now a fly ball could give the Phillies the lead with Ryan Howard coming up. In fact, a ground ball could probably give them the lead just because of the way the infield is set up, although the pressure's on Cozart to come over and cover second base. It's just going to depend on where the ground ball is.
Yeah, Ryan Howard, when he hits hard ground balls, it's really hard for him to beat him out at this point.
Yeah, now Cozart's going to go back toward the middle a little bit, so he's in a better position to take any kind of throw at the second base bag. So now a ground ball's not going to do it. Unless it's right through the hole between Cozart and Rollins.
Yeah, or he dribbles one. The dribbler's fine, because then you can't get 2.
Howard's hit it 5 straight, and he takes low and in, 1 ball and no strikes.
You can maybe just dribble one right into those stands, like last night. Fastball from Mike Leake down. Ryan Howard, good low ball hitter. That took a long ride. Now they're back with 3 on the other side again. Said that they weren't really quite sure what they wanted to do.
Utley leads off first, and a throw over to first. Chris Spire is one of Dusty Baker's coaches. He's the bench coach, and he's laying down the signs for the run game.
This guy Rollins staying a little closer to third than he normally would.
In the air to right field. That's a missile over the head of Bruce. Off the scoreboard. 1 run will score. Utley will stop at third. It's an RBI single and a long one for Ryan Howard. It's 1-0 Phillies.
Bruce either does a great job on this or he got lucky and the ball hit him.
I think he got lucky.
Yeah, because it was hit so hard and he turned around and it comes back and it's right off his body and it stayed at his feet, or they'd have had 2 runs out of it. Ryan hit this ball like Bruce hit one the first inning last night. Looked like a slider. And here it comes off the wall. Bruce is ready for, oh, it hit the concrete right there. And then it just hit his, well, he put his foot out. And he got lucky. He put his foot out and then it bounced right back up and he kept it in front of him, so they couldn't score Chase Utley on the play.
Now 1-0 Phillies on the RBI for Howard is 24th of the year. Utley leads off third, Howard off first. And Mayberry takes a strike. It's 0-1. Mayberry had a good night last night. His last 3 games have been very productive. In fact, counting the road trip the Phillies were just on, and last night's game, Mayberry is 9 for his last 25. That's very productive. Liner to left field. That's going to get the run home. It is a foul ball. Oh, man, did that hook. I thought it was going to stay fair easily. 0-2 the count.
Yeah, that sure looked like extra bases off the bat.
The last moment I saw the reaction from Mayberry as he was peeking a little bit.
If the fastball comes running in on him and he just can't keep it fair.
Good swing.
Yeah. When you get balls, fastballs, middle in, and you're a right-handed batter, that's the one to really lay the lumber on, because now he has a chance to go away from you with a slider with 2 strikes.
0-2 the count. Time is called.
I'd like to get that extra run right now, because with the ball coming off the wall the way that it did, it cost them more on that kick save.
Swing and a miss, and there are 2 outs.
And see, that's what happens. You get in that slider situation with 2 strikes, and a lot of guys are going to struggle with that. And he threw a real good one to Mayberry and strikes him out.
Well, tonight is Hunter Pence bobblehead night. That's right. The good folks at Liberty Mutual have decided to go through with the promotion of Hunter Pence bobblehead tonight, much to the delight of a lot of the fans that are here at the ballpark. And they're also they've also been nice enough to produce a fat head of Carlos Ruiz to give out to the fans. And here's a message from Hunter, which was also given out tonight. Thanks, Phillies fans, for the great memories. I'm glad my bobble figurine will still be given out, even though I'm no longer in Philadelphia. I will hope it serves as a reminder of my time there. It was a year of my career that I will never forget. That was a great gesture on the part of Hunter Pence to do that with the Phillies. And let's say it is going to be the ultimate collector's item.
Really?
Now there's the fat head of Carlos Ruiz. See, you peel and stick up there, Wheels, if you're not familiar with a fat head.
Very familiar.
So the Phillies would like to thank Liberty Mutual Insurance for sponsoring this evening's bobble figurine and also the Carlos Ruiz fat head.
You made me very familiar with one.
I think Hunter got a kick out of it that once he was traded, I think a lot of folks thought, well, they're not going to do the bobble figurine, but it was too late. Why not?
Well, they had a lot of them ready to go.
And over the last year or so, with the way Hunter played when he came from Houston last year alone, there were a lot of Hunter Pence fans, even though he's wearing a Giants uniform.
And the Giants and the Dodgers are going back and forth in that Western Division. That's going to be a heck of a race to the end, it looks like.
Yeah, tonight it's Tim Lincecum against Joe Blanton. That one's later on.
They had a 2-1 game last night. The Giants won. Bailey with 12 first inning runs, 25 starts, 1 so far tonight.
Inside, 3-1 to Dominic Brown with Kevin Franzen on deck.
They may not give him anything to hit here. They really technically have a base open with a right-handed hitter on deck.
3-1 the count. Howard leads off first. Utley off third.
Yeah, throw him a 3-1 changeup. Kind of figured they would with the situation where you could walk him here and not worry about it. He's a young hitter, just learning, and that probably is in his mind right now that they're not going to pitch to me here.
Howard goes, and there's that was a late call by Dan Iasonia. It looked a little low, but it's a strikeout nonetheless, and the Phillies settle for 1 unearned run here in the first inning. Well, there's the fat head of Wheels.
Oh.
The night that the Carlos Ruiz fat head is given out here at the ballpark, we have another one to add to the wall. run in the bottom of the first inning. They lead it 1-0 as we go to the second. Jay Bruce will lead it off, and joining us up here in the booth is the president of the Philadelphia Phillies, David Montgomery. David, thanks for coming on.
Always, Tom. Good to be with you. Wheels, how are you?
Good, David.
Did you see Wheels' fathead we just showed?
I saw him hitting left-handed. I was impressed. I know.
We've changed him a little bit over the years, from
it's
a right-handed hitter to a
since
left-handed
I've seen his stroke in softball. He's a good stroke. I will say that.
Not left-handed.
I have never seen it left-handed, so I'm not going to go there.
1-1 strike to count to Jay Bruce. Well, we brought it up because obviously tonight is the Liberty Mutual bobble figurine of Hunter Pence, plus the Carlos Ruiz fathead that the fans received when they arrived at the ballpark, plus the card from Hunter Pence, and it certainly is becoming a collector's item, that bobble figurine.
Well, it's an awkward situation, and yet we committed to our fans that we would be giving out Hunter's bobblehead tonight, and as it turned out, we're very appreciative that the sponsor agreed with us that it was the right thing to do. We certainly didn't want to disappoint any fans, and the reality is that I think Hunter also was very appreciative that we were giving everybody a very good reminder of his year with us. He gave us a great year on the field, and he was really a good guy off the field, as you would attest to, Wheels. So and we wish him the best out there.
Well, Scott Rowland's the hitter. He takes a strike. It's no balls in 1 strike. Scott last night was 1 for 4 with an RBI. Cliff Lee is pumping strikes here tonight, and it's 0-2. Well, we look around the ballpark, and I know the sellout streak ended a few weeks ago, but it's still great to see more than 40,000 each and every night here at the ballpark.
Yeah, we're still so blessed with our fan support, Tom. There's no question. And, we just hope that we can finish here on a bit of a high note and let everybody know that the good times are not all behind us, and there's opportunities that lie ahead, hopefully.
Well, it's been kind of obvious with some of the players getting healthy lately that things are a little bit different, and would have been a little bit different if they were here from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we've said obviously you're always going to have some injuries. Unfortunately, when it hits you right in that 3 and 4 hole, it makes it a little different. And then when we lost Roy, as we did there, we were surviving, I think, through the end of May, and then the combination of losing Roy and the other person, that's when Freddie got hurt, and I think that hurt us as well.
Fly ball to right. Dominic Brown makes the second grab of the night, and there are 2 outs. I think what you're saying, though, too, is it's important for folks to understand that this isn't just a 5-year thing the Phillies have gone through. This is going to be a continual thing of winning here in Philadelphia.
Well, we're proud of the fact we haven't had a losing season since 2002. We're still hopeful we won't this year. I mean, so I believe there's an awful lot to play for, and stranger things have happened. All of a sudden, a couple clubs that are ahead of you in the wild card stumble a little bit, but that's why you have 40 opportunities, and hopefully you take advantage of as many of those as you possibly can.
Todd Frazier's the hitter. The count is no balls and 1 strike to Frazier.
Cincinnati Reds don't want to hear about the Phillies struggling because they really play this team tough.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're a quality club, and for about 5 or 6 years, I guess we've had pretty good fortune against them.
Dusty said that last night after the game. We saw him after the game. He said, I don't want to hear about all your problems. We don't see them.
Well, it's a strange schedule this year that we would not have played them at all until last night, the whole season. The reality is that we have the series with Colorado left and one with Houston. Other than that, it's all within the division, except we're playing 7 games with Cincinnati here with 41 to go.
Phillies will be out in Cincinnati on Labor Day after a series against the Braves. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Todd Frazier, who came on last night as an extra man and was 1 for 1 with a walk. Fly ball right center field toward the alleyway. Long run for Brown and Mayberry, and it's off the scoreboard. And Frazier will stroll in a second with a 2-out double. Second extra base hit of the night for the Reds. And that'll bring Ryan Hannigan to the plate.
Todd Frazier, some story. We're sitting in here every afternoon and evening watching the Little League World Series, and you think that what he went through at Tom's River, that he was a hero of the Little League World Series.
And there are a lot of heroes today. In fact, the team from Uganda won their first game
in
the Little League World Series.
I didn't realize that.
And the manager, who is lovingly called Bouncer, one of their coaches is a guy by the name of Dick Stanley, who I knew very well from the Trenton Thunder. But Bouncer said, "We dedicate this win to Jimmy Rollins of the Philadelphia Phillies."
Oh, wow. That's great. Well, you know, we have our short season A club up there in Williamsport, and I've been up there a few times watching our club play, the Crosscutters play at the same time that the Little League World Series is on, and you know, they've hosted teams over there and whatnot, and you know, Williamsport's a nice hotbed for our sport.
Yeah.
It really is. And some of the new facilities they built for the Little League is just outstanding up there.
Well, it's a great experience for all the kids who, you know, obviously go there, but even the kids from outside the United States that come to see baseball there and play baseball there as Hannigan takes a strike. It's 1-1.
Yeah, you can imagine the thrill coming from another country,
Oof.
or you know, in the case of coming from out Uganda and playing baseball over here. Wow.
I know what a thrill it would have been to come from Newtown Square and go to Williamsport. When you're a kid, that's all you thought about. Oh, wouldn't that be fun to play in that?
Yeah.
Line drive caught by Jimmy Rollins at shortstop, so the side is retired. No runs, one hit, one man left. David will join us in the bottom of the second. When we return, the Phillies lead it 1-0. Kevin Franzen will lead it off. Summer. Fans can now buy a limited edition Fans Feeding Families pin on sale at the Majestic Clubhouse store and Phillies newsstands at Citizens Bank Park. Each $9 pin provides 15 meals for families in need. For more info on how you can help feed the hungry, go to Phillies.com/feeding families. This is a program that is backed by not only the Phillies, Citizens Bank, the Halliday Family Foundation. And the event a couple weeks ago raised enough money to feed over 100,000 families in the Delaware Valley. And as we go to the bottom of the second, Kevin Franzen will lead it off. David Montgomery is joining us up here in the booth as Kevin digs in. This kid's been a lot of fun to watch these last few
Yeah,
years.
he really has. He's just a solid citizen too. And our people at Lehigh Valley really enjoyed having him up there, and I think he's developed some affinity with Ron Sandberg as well. I know. I can imagine if you're playing on a club managed by Ron Sandberg and your middle infielder, you better be like a sponge soaking that up, right?
You would think so, and you'd also want to learn how to hit. You want to talk to Ryan Sandberg, especially high fastballs, because he could hit them with anybody.
He could indeed.
He's great to have in the organization, huh?
Kevin's, for the little bit we've seen up here, has been able to use all fields. He's hit the ball the other way a little bit and set up some innings for us. So.
Well, David, you just got back from the owners' meetings out in Denver, and I know we were talking the other day about instant replay and how that's going to expand a little bit in the next week or so. Just on the test run. Do you think that'll expand even more once 2013 rolls around?
I don't know, Tom. There's so many challenges because even though you tend to think that if you have an angle, and remember the camera angles are so different in so many parks that I thought it was you know, every once in a while you see a play that there's no question on replay that you can determine it. But one of the things they're talking about is fair foul, and the challenge is once it gets past the bag, then you can go to you know, a tracker such as they have in tennis and whatnot to see whether the ball truly lands fair or foul. I was rooting that one for Mayberry to land a little bit more, about 3 feet over an inning ago. But you know, the reality between home and the bag at first or third, I still think that's going to be a judgment call. It almost has to be, because you just won't be able to identify going over the bag, so to speak, as opposed to I believe what they're going to do in New York, one at Citi Field and one at Yankee Stadium, is test 2 different technologies of shooting from the bag to the foul pole on first and third to determine whether or not either of those work out well for the rest of this year, and then that may be the next thing we implement.
So you mean they're leaning more to calling line drives as opposed to trying to decide whether the ball catches a piece of the bag on a ground ball?
Right. I mean, the feeling is that there's nothing, you know, as far as gives you the ability to shoot over the bag.
No, we've had that so many times where you don't know whether that caught a piece of the bag or not.
Right. And so that I believe, Wills, I mean, none of this has been decided. They're trying to put in place technology that gives you know, Joe Torre and his group a better idea of what then to take both to the Players Association and to the you know, the umpires union. But I do think that there's more acceptance in seeing if there isn't some accurate way to do it and do it quickly. I think the concern is you really do not want to extend the length of the game. You want to make these decisions as quickly as possible.
Are they still going to go for traps in the outfield?
There's talk of that. I don't think they've decided, because again, I think a lot of replays can be inconclusive on that. I mean, Joe at our meetings was talking about seeing one recently. I forget the circumstances, but a manager got ejected over it, and arguing and whatnot. And he said when he saw it, I think it was one where the first base umpire called it as a catch, and the other umpires overruled him. And when Joe said when he looked at 6 angles, he couldn't decide.
Well, we'll see if it changes as the years move on. David, as always, we appreciate you coming on.
Good to see you, man.
All right, David Montgomery.
Take care.
Bye, David. President
of the Philadelphia Phillies. We go to the third here in Philadelphia. The Phils hanging on to a 1-0 lead. We'll be back. To the fans section for all the information, and we'll submit your answer on the subject line. On August 5th, 1975, the Phillies traded Dave Schneck to the Reds for what player? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. You have an idea of that one?
August 5th, 1975.
1975. It was a long time ago.
Dave Schneck came over from the Mets in the Tug McGraw deal, along with Tug McGraw. 1975 to the Reds.
It's working. It's ticking up there.
Well, I'll try.
Homer Bailey will lead off the third.
Sure, the fans have it already.
They probably do. You know, we get that answer within seconds.
Went to the cloud, as you say.
The information superhighway.
I wish I had the cloud for these.
Homer Bailey's a 140 hitter. Speaking of clouds, there's some dark clouds that are rolling over right now.
Yeah, not supposed to have any rain here tonight. They're having a little rain delay in Washington right now.
For the second straight day.
They played a long time last night.
Phillies
13 innings with a rain delay.
One ball, one strike to count. Swing and a miss to the high fastball. Phillies, by the way, speaking of last night, they won. The Mets lost, so the Phillies are now tied for third in the National League East, and they're 10 games off the pace in the wild card. Reds, meanwhile, are 6.5 up over Pittsburgh in the Central. Inside, 2-2 to Bailey. Opposite way, a foul ball. Nice catch.
Let you get Dominic Brown over in a couple more steps towards the line when you see that swing. Good play out there.
Good play because he had people in front of him that were trying to make that catch, and Dominic does move over.
When you see that, that just makes you move over and in a little more.
And a called strike three. Boy, Lee is dialed in again tonight with these strikeouts. That's 4. In fact, Lee and Bailey both have 4 strikeouts. Well, don't forget there are 2 more games between the Phils and the Reds. Tomorrow is 1990s Retro Night. Thursday is a 7:05 start. That is one of the best pitching matchups of the year. Johnny Cueto threw his bullpen today against Cole Hamels. Order tickets now at Phillies.com. Zach Cozart a swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Cozart struck out his first time up. Cozart struck out his first time up, but his strikeouts are down as this year has gone on. That's to shallow right center. Utley's backpedaling.
See, Dominic Brown has to come in and run him off that play. See, they're talking about a little bit right now. That's such an easy play for an outfielder. Has a lot of hang time. A very difficult play for an infielder, backpedaling, and also wondering whether the guy's getting close or not. Watch right here. He jams him. Now Utley's backpedaling the whole time. He's not running to a spot. Puts his hand up, and what he's hoping is he hears somebody behind him yell, "I got it." He can peel off and get out of there. So that's a play that Brown has to, get more aggressive on and run his infielders off.
2 outs. Drew Stubbs a swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Stubbs struck out his first time up. Chase Utley, who was the feature, the unknown feature of today's Baseball 101 events that took place at the ballpark. Baseball 101 happens 2 times a year. Phillies do an unbelievable job with this, where they invite women from around the Delaware Valley who are Phillies fans to come in and learn about the different parts of the organization. And unbeknownst to anybody, as they arrived today, the surprise guest of honor was Chase Utley.
He was even bigger than Larry and Scott,
which was supposed to be Larry, Scott, and JJ, but
right.
JJ was detained on both bridges. In fact, I think JJ went over all 4 bridges.
Yeah, he was trying
from New Jersey to Philadelphia.
He almost made it up to the Burlington Bristol, I think, trying to get here.
1-2 pitch, little tapper up the third base line.
It was evidently there was a lot of gridlock in Jersey today.
Yeah, JJ tried the Walt Whitman Bridge. That was backed up because they're doing construction, and they have been for a while. Then he tried the Ben Franklin Bridge. Unfortunately, there was a car fire on that one.
Right. The Coney was next, or the Betsy Ross.
Right.
and then the Burlington-Bristol.
Or he was going to go all the way up to Trenton, up 295, and take the Trenton-Makes Bridge.
Or go down to Commodore Barry. You know, that's got a shot. Come up from Chester.
1-2 pitch. And a called strike 3 right on the inside part of the plate. 5 strikeouts for Cliff Lee through the first 3 innings as he sets the Reds down in order here at the top of the 3rd. Boy, he's got everything working tonight. The other day it was the curveball and his fastball. Today, it's everything in his repertoire. If it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. By Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by Nissan Summer Saving Days. Event ends September 4th. Choose Nissan.com. Bottom of the 3rd, Jimmy Rollins, Juan Pierre, Chase Utley. To lead it off for the Phillies. They lead it 1-0. Rollins started out the first by reaching on an error and then came around to score his 72nd run of the year. Takes inside, 1-0. Rowland is in on the grass at 3rd. Jimmy doesn't bunt that often. He did bunt on the last road trip, right-handed toward 3rd. I think if he bunts, he's dragging it up the first base line.
Yeah, you would drag, exactly.
But Scott Rowland's won more Gold Gloves than you or I, so he has a better idea.
Scott Rowland is still really, really good down there at 3rd base. He's limited in some things because of his shoulder.
Fly ball left center field. And Drew Stubbs settles under it for the first out here in the 3rd. Juan Pierre is due up, and as Juan walks to the plate, it's time for our Major League Notebook. Let's bring in Murph. Murph, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, C-Mac. Brought to you by Gwinnett Mercy College. The St. Louis Cardinals have locked up pitcher Jake Westbrook on Tuesday. The deal is a 1-year extension with an option for 2014 as well. The righty 12-9 this year with an ERA of 3.50. And guys, did you hear the story about veteran umpire Jim Joyce? He was arriving for his game last night in Arizona at Chase Field when a woman who works at Chase Field collapsed. Well, Jim Joyce was right there on the scene, and he performed CPR for 20 minutes until the ambulance was able to get there. The medics were able to get there. She was able to get to the hospital, and I'm happy to report all ends well for the woman that Jim Joyce helped out, because it was a scary situation at Chase Field, but Jim Joyce right there on the scene. So how about that? Not bad for that veteran umpire, huh?
That's remarkable.
Great story.
You know, he's a guy who obviously was there was a light cast on him with that near perfect game with Galarraga in Detroit a couple years ago. The two of them wrote a book together, but he is consistently voted the best umpire in Major League Baseball by the players. And not only because of the way he handled that night, they just say he's a wonderful guy, and well, good for him. it's a true test to someone how they react in certain situations.
Great story.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Cool under pressure for Jim Joyce, and lucky for the woman there that he was on the scene. Hey guys, would you mind wishing my boy Ryan over here? He's 11 years old. It's his birthday today. How about a happy birthday from the booth?
Happy birthday, Ryan. How are you, man?
The boys say happy birthday from the booth.
Did they get their Hunter Pence bobble figurines today?
I think they probably did. Got the Hunter Pence bobbleheads, right? Bobble figurines.
Tell him to hang around Murph, and Sarge will bring him a cake. He's big at that.
I will absolutely tell him that. Thank you, guys.
All right, Murph. A great-looking crowd here tonight as Chase Utley will settle in with 2 outs here in the third. Chase singled his first time up, and that was part of that first inning when the Phillies scored a run because he was able to get Jimmy Rollins over to third. Outside, 1-0.
Yeah, they really could have had 2 runs in that first inning. Nice play by Bruce out there in right field and that kick save, and then they got the strikeout with a runner at third after he was able to keep Utley at third base.
Utley again through the hole on the right side. Brandon Phillips just got his uniform dirty, but I think it's because he tripped.
I don't know what he's doing there. He had no shot to get to that. I guess he did trip.
If you want something fun and informative in the morning, then PHL 17 has you covered. For all your weather, traffic, and trends, check out Eye Opener from 6 until 8 tomorrow morning. It's a different kind of morning show right here on PHL 17.
Chase Utley keeps doing that. They're going to stick that second baseman in the hole on him pretty soon, because that's what the spray charts are going to start showing.
Which they have done in past games.
Yeah, and they bring the shortstop over on the other side like they do with Ryan Howard here.
Howard's average is up to 260. His RBI total at 24 with his RBI single in the first. I don't know what he's done lately. I don't know what he's adjusted. Because whatever it is, he's not going to want to talk about it, but his swings have been better.
I asked Charlie about it. He says his balance is really good right now, and he's getting loaded correctly, and his timing is a lot better. But as far as Charlie's concerned, a lot of it has to do with his balance. You know, his swing is so big. There's a lot of things have to go right, and when it doesn't, it can look really long.
Tough pitch, and it's 0-2.
Charlie said he didn't think he was getting his weight shift right. He just couldn't get it from front to back and then back through again, and now all of a sudden he is, and that's the difference. So they want to go upstairs on him here.
And they do, and he's down on strikes. It's the 5th strikeout for Homer Bailey. The Phillies leave one here in the third. We've completed our first 3. Phillies with that first inning run lead at 1-0 over Cincinnati. You'll love, like Avery Easy Peel labels for professional looking mailings from who? The WB Mason. On to the 4th inning we go. Plenty of shots to be taken here at the ballpark. Tell you what, this is a really good crowd on here tonight. Ashburn Alley is loaded with folks walking back and forth. Those guys have not gone back to school yet, which they're happy about. Phillies lead at 1-0. They scored their run, an unearned run in the first. Here's Ashburn Alley. And Cliff Lee, who has struck out 5 so far through 3, will face Brandon Phillips, Ryan Ludwig, and Jay Bruce. 3, 4, and 5 here in the 4th. Little cue shot up the first baseline, foul, and it's 0-1. Phillips doubled his first time up. It was his 25th double of the year.
Cliff Lee getting those inside strikes being called. I think that's been the difference here so far. When he can get that inside part of the plate, boy, he's a terrific pitcher.
That one is just foul. Good backup there by that gentleman. Backed that play up perfectly. It's 0-2. Well, Sarge, I thought the last outing, his curveball was one of the differences. He did give up home runs. And this outing, I think he hasn't had to throw the curveball that much, but he's had command of everything else.
Yeah, but again, too, though, the curveball that he throws, that's just something that he'll get guys to swing at that. When you hang it, however, you'll get guys to hit that same pitch out of the ballpark. So consequently, by him getting those inside strikes there, you keep that hitter guessing. You know, they don't eliminate one pitch. You're not able to throw a particular pitch over. As a hitter, you just eliminate that and look for some of the other 2 pitches he would have, or 3.
0-2 pitch. Check swing, foul ball. And it remains 0-2.
He's getting that ball all the way in, and before he'd have, say, 2 strikes on a hitter and get too much of the plate, and they'd start hitting the ball out of the ballpark or hitting the ball in the alleys.
Yeah, I talked to Rich Doobie about Lee pitching from the windup compared to the stretch, and he said a lot of it is just angle, getting a better angle. Because there is a difference. There's another strikeout and a good breaking pitch. There is a difference with the way Brandon Phillips was going to run. Then he said, "No, I'm not going to run." But there is a difference with the way you go at the plate when you pitch from the windup or from the stretch.
Well, there's no doubt about it. There are different angles, and a lot of times I've always felt when you're in that stretch, you don't have as much power as you would if you were actually winding up. There's some pitchers that feel comfortable, however, and throwing from the stretch, especially the relievers late in the ball game, and I just think that's more so they're more accustomed to that.
Yeah, but there's a 100-point difference in batting average for Cliff from the windup to the stretch, and even during that year in Cleveland, where he really struggled before his Cy Young year, he didn't have that. The numbers weren't that different. Here's John Mayberry for the second out. You know what I'm saying? It's been such an odd year.
A lot has to do with him, the location. Again, he's a pitcher that pounds the strike zone, and then when he doesn't have good location, he gets pounded. It's plain and simple.
Oh, he has 2 outs here in the 4th. Jay Bruce, he got on strikes his last time up. Try to finish up this 4th inning. And a fastball for strike 1. It's 0-1.
Even though he's not having a great year, and any time that, say, a team like the Cincinnati Reds are coming in to face him, they're not even looking at that. They're looking at him as a quality, kind of a number 1 type pitcher. Sorry, Tom. That's why I said it before. Stats don't always tell the story.
Good curveball, 1-2. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Mets have jumped out to a 1-0 lead over the Rockies. That game's in the bottom of the 4th. Ruben Tejada has scored a run. He has a base hit. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got it with a curve. 76 miles per hour. 7 strikeouts for Cliff Lee. And a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. He has 2 strikeouts in 3 different innings tonight. And now he's got his curveball working. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's the Phillies 1 and the Reds 0. IIHS safety picks than any other brand. Go further. Visit your Quality Plus Ford stores today. By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. And by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Home half of the 4th inning. John Mayberry, Dominic Brown, Kevin Franzen are due up against Homer Bailey. 26-year-old right-hander from LaGrange, Texas. Homer first-round pick back in 2004. Brian Price, the pitching coach, says that over the last couple of outings they've been working on a glitch in Homer Bailey's motion. That's why they think he has an earned run average of over 8 since the 31st of July. He's trying to dispel rumors that he's tired, that his arm's all fatigued, which it could be at this point. Sometimes pitchers go through that, Sarge, and then they break through this wall, and then they're fine. Yeah,
he's had different arm slots. That's one of the reasons he hasn't been able to be consistent, meaning that usually you'll throw that ball from the same arm slot, whether or not it's a fastball, curveball, or a changeup, to be able to deceive the hitter. He's had different arm slots, so therefore he's been up and down. Although the club has scored a lot of runs for him because his ERA is pretty high.
Well, he's thrown a couple of good pitches to Mayberry in this at bat. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Check swing.
Well, they're starting to throw Mayberry a lot of off-speed pitches. He's proven again that he's been able to hit that fastball. So then it's up to him to be able to make that adjustment. But you don't want that to be at the end of the game. You want it to be during the game. Figure out what they're trying to do to you.
Opposite way. Slicing. It is a foul ball.
It's a good swing.
It was close to being a leadoff double. So he's peppered the lines on both sides tonight.
Yeah, I like that swing. See how his head was down on that? Didn't bail on it at all. That's a good swing. And those are the ones that he needs to be able to have to stay consistent.
So again, it's 1-2. A little low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mayberry's hit it 4 straight. He's making his 19th start in center field. It's his 18th since Shane Victorino has been dealt, or was dealt, to the Dodgers. Brown waits on deck.
Let's see if he's worked himself into that fastball count. Mayberry, a fastball hitter.
Curveball.
Ball was smoked.
It sure was.
He's doing a great job, however, staying on all of the pitches, whether or not slider, curveball. Good to see.
Fastball chopped toward the middle. Phillips played perfectly. Gets a nice hop. Dominic Brown is coming up this weekend. The Phillies will take on the Washington Nationals here at the ballpark. 2 night games Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday. Great giveaway for fans 14 and under. Yes, it is a reminder that school is right around the corner, but it's still a really good giveaway. ShopRite Jimmy Rollins back to school cooler bag. Head to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets for any of the games coming up, including the 2 left against the Reds and the 3 against the Nationals, the 3 next week against the New York Mets.
Yep, those will be huge games for the fighting Phils.
Dominic Brown lays off a breaking ball outside. Dominic Brown has 6 RBIs in the last 2 games. He's hit in 15 of his last 20 ball games. He's still looking for his first home run, but his swings have, the last couple of days, have gotten better.
Well, I'm sure everyone would like to see that power, even himself, but you know, I'll take these hits that he's getting right now to get himself in that position to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
3-0 the count. We just saw Mike Leake, who all the Phillies had a good time against last night. There he is. 7 runs, 10 hits.
See if Charlie will give him the 3-0 hit.
Would you?
Yeah, why not?
The hitters always stick together. That was outside. It's outside corner. It's 3-1.
Well, I want to see whether or not he can recognize a ball that he can hit. Maybe middle in is what you're looking at. You know, and that ball was away, so you just don't want to swing at it because you do have the hit on.
He fights that one off. And there are 2 outs. 2 outs for Kevin Franzen. That's one of those swings that Charlie was talking about the other day. I don't know if you heard him. You know, the ball getting too deep.
Yeah. Yeah, it was almost as if it was a panic swing. I mean, like he wasn't really looking for that, and it was a ball to boot. So those particular counts there, 3-1, and your hitting counts, you want to really hit that ball in a particular zone, have better results.
Franzen grounded out to short his first time up. Phillies scored the run, an unearned run in the first. She was awake for that.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons, though, Brown swung at that low pitch. He got called out on a low strike the time before. So as a hitter, you're going to go up and make that adjustment. If it's a little low, you're going to offer it.
That's a good point. It was a low strike that he got called out on.
So that's all about making the adjustment. When we talk about hitters making the adjustment to, you know, the umpire, but that would be more of a ball you might swing at 3-2 as opposed to 3-1.
Off the glove of Cozart. And that should be a base hit for Franzen. I wasn't sure if that ball was going to be over his head, if it was a little humpback liner that would nestle into the glove, or if it would just do just that.
Yeah, sometimes those are the hardest balls to catch because you're thinking it's hit a little bit harder than what it is, and you get up. Boy, I tell you what, he got up there, just didn't go into the glove. It was on the side there, showing some ups.
Well, that gives Eric Kratz an opportunity with a runner at first. Cliff Lee is on deck. How about the numbers that Kratz, Schneider, and Ruiz have put together collectively this year?
Unbelievable.
59 extra base hits between the three of them. That's tops among catchers. 39 doubles, tops among catchers. On base percentage of .386, tops among catchers. And a .317 average, which is second. Now Ruiz has provided most of that spark, but
yep.
Kratz and Schneider have been able to provide a boost too when they're in there.
Well,
Ball, one strike.
That's a real good point, because you look at that position and you want to see what you're going to get out of it. And those numbers, I mean, it's just great. So then as management, as they're looking at it, they can say, okay, catching is sound. Let's go to another position, each position, and you figure out if that's best for your club. I mean, obviously you can't have an all-star at every single position, but you do want to have solid players and players that can do some things. And here's one right here in Kratz. And the way he has been hitting the ball, I tell you, he's opened up a lot of eyes. Big guy, very durable, throws from his knees.
Broke his bat. Slowly hits a shortstop. And Bailey's able to work out of the fourth inning. He allows a 2-out hit. Franzen's left on base. We go to the fifth inning here in Philadelphia. The Phillies lead it 1-0 over the Cincinnati Reds. Ethan Martin's one of the guys the Phillies got in one of their recent trades, and he had himself a pretty good week down in Reading. 2 games, 2-0, 1.50 earned run average, a strikeout for each inning he threw. He was in the Victorino deal. And then you have Cody Ash from Reading. 7 games, a .519 average.
Yeah, 7 RBIs there to boot. You like to see that too. And when you have guys in Double-A, they're not too far away. And those numbers that they're putting up, usually you can count on them to be similar once they get to the major leagues. Not in all cases, but in a lot.
Cody Ash started the year in Clearwater. Took a little time to get adjusted to Double-A, but it seems like he is adjusting. Scott Rowland takes the first pitch inside. As we start the fifth, 1-0 Phillies. A run in the first on an RBI single by Ryan Howard.
Yeah, how about this? 16 years ago today, Scott Rowland hitting his first home run with the Dodgers, or against the Dodgers, I should say, in Los Angeles. Still in the league, not as productive, however. Injuries have obviously slowed him down, but I remember when he first came into the league, they were talking about his fielding and how much better he was than Mike Schmidt. Could hardly wait to actually see him play.
to right field. Dominic Brown is out there. Well, last night, Scott Rowland played in his 2000th game at third base. Obviously, he began his career with the Phillies. He talked in the papers today about his time here in Philadelphia. He recognized that the break was not a clean one for Philadelphia, as everybody knows. But as he said, he holds a number of things dear to his heart from being here in Philadelphia. Rookie of the Year '97, 7-time All-Star, and 8-time Gold Glove winner.
Well, I got to tell you, those are pretty nice credentials to have.
To left field, Juan Pierre puts it away. 2 outs. I think the thing about Scott Rowland that is unfortunate for him is that he may not have been able to read the tea leaves here in Philadelphia appropriately, because if he had stuck around, he's one of those guys that probably could have stayed here his entire career. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely, though. I think for me, though, and in talking with him when that went on at the time, and one of my best friends, and John Vukovic was here at the time, and also Larry Boa, he was having a problem with those guys. And he said at any cost he was going to leave because of the fact, you know, Larry can be a little bit hard on you, but he wants the best out of you. And I think Larry felt by getting on him that he would be able to be even a better player than what he was. And I think for me, Scott took it kind of the wrong way. And therefore, there you go. He was ended up trading and going to St. Louis. But, you know, say what you want about him. He's been a great player. He's a good guy. And a good guy to have on your team.
Well, all of those things, I agree with you on that. He is a very good player, and he is a good guy. It's just that he could have been part of a lot of great things here in Philadelphia.
There's no question about it. No, you're looking at a guy, too, Tom. I mean, he has a lot of principle. And, you know, again, he gets most players maybe could overlook it, you know, or go the other way. You know, I know when I was playing Dallas Green, I mean, he was pretty tough on guys. And if you didn't have thick skin, I mean, you really didn't want to be here. But we would go the other way and say, okay, I'll show you that I'm a better player than what you think I am.
0-1 the count to Homer Bailey.
You know, I think Junior, he ended up going through the same thing there with Buck Showalter in Texas. You know, that's one of those things. They said, hey, play him, play him. So Buck said, I tell you what, I'm going to play him and show you that he can't play. And thus, he ended up having one of his better years.
0-2 the count to Bailey. So I guess it depends on the person or the player.
Absolutely.
As far as how you deal with it.
Well, with the Phillies' hands, you just hate to see players of his caliber, you know, leave, especially when they have a lot more to give. And at the time, he sure did.
Called strike 3. Bailey's down looking. 8 strikeouts for Cliff Lee through 5 innings of work tonight. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Time for the bottom of the 5th, and Cliff Lee will lead it off. Well, it's just around the corner. 2 Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band shows, September 2nd and 3rd. Tickets remain for both shows. Go to ComcastTix.com or call 800-298-4200 to order your tickets. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Phillies on top 1-0. Cliff Lee will lead it off. This place is going to be just nuts those 2 nights when Springsteen is here. He just played at Fenway last week. He's making his rounds around some of the ballparks around Major League Baseball. As Cliff Lee takes outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Lee struck out his first time up. One ball, 1 strike to count. All right, Sarge, what's going on with Cliff Lee's swing? He's under 200. What's going on with that?
Still good, though. I mean, any pitcher hitting that, well, like you mentioned, the magic mark for them is like 200 or 196. You can't fault him, for that.
He's not happy about that, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he's happy about those 2 victories either. The fact is, it goes kind of hand in hand. You're winning games, you're feeling good about yourself. He hadn't had time to concentrate on that hitting because he's been missing those spots on that mound.
2-2 the count as he takes a pitch inside.
I can only imagine, though, what he's going through, and you've had success, and all of a sudden you kind of have just lost it.
Well, there's a changeup. And another strikeout for Homer Bailey. 6 strikeouts overall. And here comes Jimmy Rollins. Rollins 237 overall. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He has scored a run, though. That's through the hole on the right side, so he's got a base hit in both games. Let's see if the Phils can get something going with 1 out. I didn't see Jimmy today. Did you ask him about Bouncer from the Uganda Little League team dedicating the game to him?
No, didn't talk with him about it. Evidently, though, he had tweeted, told them congratulations, and they said in honor of Jimmy Rollins, they honored him for that very first game there. And I think just because of the way that J-Ro really cares and showed that he cared by giving equipment and things like that.
Well, those kids will be here at the ballpark later on this week.
Well, I tell you, they all had smiles, that's for sure.
They beat a team from Oregon who had smiles on their faces, too.
It was great to see the sportsmanship that the Little Leagues were actually giving each other high fives. It was just a terrific game there, 3-2. Any one of the teams could have won. I mean, there have been some great play with that Little League diving catches. One thing I will say, though, they hustle all the time. All the time.
Conversation between Hannigan and Homer Bailey.
Kind of anxious to get a chance to meet some of those players and, to have their dream come true. And even one of them hit a home run, which is the first home run. I can't imagine how all of a sudden you're just swinging, and let's say hit one out of the ballpark when they can barely even get base hits. But just goes to show you with this game of baseball that you can learn it and learn it well, and then pretty soon you end up in the Little League World Series. And I'm sure sooner or later there'll be a player or two that'll be in the major leagues. That's just the way it's going to happen.
A little high to Pierre. It's 2-1. Well, Jimmy and Derek Lee, the former major leaguer, both visited there in this offseason, and they both said the same thing, that there will be a day that you'll see a major leaguer from Uganda. Rollins goes, and a pitch is fouled back.
Hit and run. That ball down and in, and Juan Pierre's legs. This guy's had an amazing career. I mean, when you think about it, realize it. And he said, hey, if he wanted to try and hit home runs, he could hit a few more home runs. But if he's trying to do that, and that means he'd be just swinging hard just about every single time, he realizes that that is not going to be his game. That would not make him successful and stay in the major leagues. Stealing bases, that'll do it. Scoring runs, that'll do it.
Left side of the infield, Cozart, the shortstop, has the second out, and here comes Chase Utley. This fall, PHL 17 presents Are We There Yet? The hilarious comedy based on the hugely successful movie franchise. Featuring Terry Crews and Ice Cube, Are We There Yet? Comes to PHL 17 weeknights at 5:30 and premieres September 17th. All of us that have driven anywhere with our kids know exactly how they feel.
Oh, boy.
Chase Utley's 2 for 2. Want to know the count to Chase? Rollins goes. Pitch is taken low. Hannigan's throw right into the base path. That was a good throw. Had a little bit of a screwball action to it. It tailed right into the runner. And the Phillies are retired here in the 5th. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. Hannigan throws out Rollins to wrap up the 5th inning. So pretty good throw on not an easy pitch to handle. And we go to the 6th inning. Everything that was expected of him. The Phillies made sure Cole Hamels would wear a Phillies uniform for a long time, and he has shown why they did that. The last 3 starts, he has been nearly invulnerable as he carves his way up and down through lineup after lineup. He has posted 2 shutouts, 3 straight wins, and an ERA under 1 thus far in August. During the dog days of summer, he has been in a pretty good groove. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross, changing the game. Top of the 6th inning. Sarge, they've worn those the entire night. It's got to be warm inside those heads.
Oh, boy. Really is. I like it, though. I mean, red mustache.
In honor of the Bobble figurine night tonight, the Hunter Pence Bobble figurine.
Oh, I thought it was. I did see the bobblehead, and I also saw the, what was that, the big fat head?
The Carlos Ruiz fat head.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I thought I saw a Chris Wheeler fat head.
You can see that any night here at the ballpark, here in the television booth. Zach Cozart leads off the 6th with a single. Only 4 hits given up tonight by Cliff Lee. That's the first time the Reds have had the leadoff hitter aboard. It's just a 1-0 lead for the Phillies, and now Drew Stubbs is up for Cincinnati. Stubbs is 0 for 2. They've gotten him twice on strikes. Lee has struck out 8 in the game. He has 150 strikeouts for the year. Well, there you see the comparisons between the two pitchers. Pretty close.
Too many strikeouts there for Stubbs. Again, young player. He's learning. 384 at bats to this point. With all those strikeouts, you can see if he put just maybe 50 more in play, you'd be hitting a little higher than that 227. Power numbers aren't bad. 14 and 37 RBIs. And his big thing is he's going to be one of those guys that will score a lot of runs. And he is a fast runner. Unfortunately, though, you can't steal first base. Going to have to hit his way off.
A little low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Mark Berry's the third base coach, laying down some signs for Stubbs and for Cozart, who has stolen 3 bags this year. He's 3 for 3. Opposite way, another base hit. All right, so up to second goes Cozart. This is the first real jam that Cliff Lee's been in, and it's against the top of the lineup for Cincinnati.
And then what you're looking at is both those balls were hit awful hard. One up the middle, the other one to right field, but no chance at all for any of the fielders to get the ball. This is when he needs to come out with a good pitch. He'll be swinging, not bunting, I would think.
Well, he doubled his first time up. They got him on strikes his last time. Now the Phillies will set up for 2.
Yeah, a lot of times your third, fourth, fifth hitters, you just don't want to take the bat out of their hands. The reason that you don't bunt. There are some managers like Tony La Russa, when he was managing, he would bunt that third hitter depending on who it was to get the runners in scoring position, especially if he was behind.
Phillies aren't thinking bunt. Howard's back behind first. Franzen's back behind third. And it's 0-1.
Good pitch, curveball, first strike. That is the key, getting ahead with whatever pitch.
Each team with 5 hits now. And the first time tonight that Cliff's given up 2 hits in an inning. He went back inside with a changeup. It's 2-1. Last time he faced the Reds was August of last year. He didn't allow a run in 8 2/3. He struck out 7. It was just 15 days later that he picked up his last victory here at the ballpark. There's a strike. 92, belt high. Phillips thought it was high. He did think it was high, didn't he?
Yeah, thought it was a high pitch. He liked the way, though. I mean, Cliff Lee throwing balls down, and then all of a sudden elevated the ball. Yeah, but I thought it was a strike.
Curveball. Not a bad pitch with the count 2-2.
Boy, that's that 12-6 there, starting up there and coming down. Boy, it had good break on it. Take a look at it. Well, right in and then come off the plate. Not even a stride, however, there for Brandon Phillips.
Runners take their lead. Foul ball.
There's another indication of a hitter making an adjustment. That pitch up in the zone. Kind of fights that one off.
So you think he swung at that one because of the two-strike pitch?
Oh, definitely.
Pitch that was the second strike?
Oh, yeah. Unless you know it is definitely over your hands in a ball, you got an offer at it because you've already had that pitch called.
Phillips has 7 hits against Lee and 25 at-bats for his career. He's really turned himself into a pretty good player. In fact, Brandon Phillips and Cliff Lee were both traded at the same time. Traded from the Indians, or traded from the Expos to the Indians. Phillips eventually went on to the Reds, and of course Lee eventually went on to the Phillies.
I tell you, over the years, the Expos have just had some great players.
Lee, Phillips, Grady Sizemore all went to Cleveland in that deal. Curveball looped right center field. That's going to drop. Fortunately, the runner at second, Cozart, didn't think so, so he stopped. And now the bases are loaded. 2 hard hit balls, 1 bloop. And you want to talk about heavy lifting for Cliff Lee with nobody out here in the 6th.
Well, I guess it's better to be safe than sorry, but you got to be able to read balls here. That ball hit off the end of the bat. Guess from our advantage point, you could tell the ball was actually going to drop in. Cozart, see how he's getting ready to tag up. He wouldn't have been able to tag up from there where he was. So what you want to do is go to an area where you can get back if that ball is caught. Then maybe you can score. You're not going to be able to score going all the way back to the bag.
All right, well, now the Phillies will play the infield at double play depth with the bases loaded and nobody out, trying to stop a big inning and get some outs. Ludwig is 0 for 2. He's flied out twice.
Yeah, wants that ball on his hands. If he wants a ground ball, he wants that ball down near the knee area, preferably away.
There's a good pitch. 0-1 at the knees at 92 miles an hour. Ludwig, who was with San Diego to start the year last year, said the ballpark just screwed him up. He just got in his head, and it ruined his year. He didn't have an awful year, but he didn't have a year that, let's say, compared to the years he had in St. Louis. Curveball over to third. Diving stop. Franzen goes to the plate in time. What a play! Oh, boy, Kevin Franzen. 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. Wow. That may have been his only play.
Well, I got to tell you this. He had it in his mind made up right away, didn't hesitate. That ball hit. He actually does a little twirl. Take a look at it as he does that 360. Turning around right on the money there. Gets him at home plate. That's just a great play. Take a look at it again. I got to tell you, that is as good as it gets right there.
The crowd here at Citizens Bank Park gave him a standing ovation. What a wonderful play by Kevin Franzen. I don't know if you'll see a better play in baseball tonight.
Well, with the circumstances, with the bases loaded there, first baseman right there, Kratz is acting as if he is one. Very nice as he goes into that stretch.
All right, bases remain loaded. 1 out. Jay Bruce is the hitter. He has struck out twice tonight. Curveballs have been the most effective pitch against him. They started with a fastball and it's 0-1.
Yeah, there's that high fastball again, and that's where Cliff Lee can go. He can go to the well there because that pitch has been called. Maybe throw it up a little higher. Maybe you can get a pop-up.
Long look in. 0-1 the count. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Well, that play might have juiced up Cliff Lee a little bit.
Why not?
Yeah, and different plays will do that during the course of a game.
Runners all the way around. Ludwig is over at first. Phillips at second. Stubbs at third. No balls, 2 strikes to Jay Bruce. Ground ball towards second. Could be 2. Utley flips to second for 1. Rollins is tossed in time. What an inning for Cliff Lee to get out of a jam. 4-6-3 double play. A tip of the cap to Kevin Franzen. And the same to Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley to turn that double play. Well, you're right. He may have just fed off the energy, not only of this ballpark, Cliff Lee that is, but the energy provided by Kevin Franzen over at third base. It's still a 1-0 lead with some spectacular plays helping lead the Phillies to the bottom of the sixth. Sells one heck of an inning defensively. Kevin Franzen, Sarge, he's playing loose and he's playing free.
Well, the whole team is right now. This is just a great play. He doesn't catch that ball, possibly 2 runs will score. He not only dives and catches it, he turns and throws the ball to home plate. Now take a look at the double play. Classic 4-6-3. Just like you like those eggs, ham and eggs, turn them over for 2. That's pretty nice.
Rollins did a good job getting away from Ludwig on that throw.
He put something on it, too.
Well, he had to. Bruce was moving. Well, we've talked about the Phillies' struggles defensively this year. That could have been the best defensive inning they've had all year.
Oh, boy. And you win ball games when you have good defense.
Kevin Franzen may have opened up a wound on that diving stop, but he'll take it. Here's Chase Utley, who was up when Rollins was thrown out trying to steal in the 5th. That could have been one of the best defensive plays of the year for the Phillies.
That was a great play, and under the circumstances with the bases loaded, again.
2-0 the count. Did that get him? Yeah, it did. Chase will take the base. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By McDonald's. Now at McDonald's, any size soft drink or sweet tea is $1. And by Chevrolet. See your local Chevy dealer or visit ChevyDealer.com. Leadoff batters aboard for the Phils. They haven't done that since the 1st.
Probably just maybe. Oh, I was going to say didn't get him.
Belly said, come on, as Utley was going up to first.
And would they use instant replay on something like that?
No. At least that not the way that they have it laid out now. They'd use it on trap plays and boundary plays. But just beyond the bags, down the left and right field line to see if the ball is fair or foul.
Pitcher can usually tell if a batter is hit.
1 ball, 1 strike now to Howard, who's driven in the only run of the game. That's a good eye by Ryan.
Starting to hit with a lot of confidence, driving in runs. That's why he's just so valuable. He comes back already 8 home runs, 24 RBIs. And those are some of the things you just can't teach. Can't teach power.
Utley goes, pitches line the opposite way. And Ludwig makes the catch. Utley stopped at second, right on the bag. He knows his own ability to get back.
Yep.
1 out.
Now that's a good play though too, because if the ball is dropped, he still can decide whether or not he wants to go to third. He knows he can get back to first.
John Mayberry is 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out. Last night the Phillies scored 12 runs. It ended a 69-game streak of scoring fewer than 10 runs. Over to third, that might be 2. Good slide by Utley, but it's still a double play. 5-4-3. Phillips did a good job staying away from the contact. Over at second, we've completed 6. We now go to the 7th. 1-0 Phils.
We were talking earlier, as we look at the summary, that the Phillies this year probably didn't make defensive plays the way they had in the past. Well, that play Franson made is an all-timer. And then the double play with Jimmy Rollins, who somehow has that ability to just flip the ball and put so much on it. Bases loaded, nobody out. They get out of it. Still a 1-0 game, and really a good ball game, Tom.
Yeah, 6 innings, 8 strikeouts for Lee. He's got 20 strikeouts in his last 2 ball games. And now he'll face Scott Rowland, Todd Frazier, and Ryan Hannigan as we begin the 7th. He's at 85 pitches. We'll talk about a guy that has not been given run support this year. I know he's 2-7, and yes, there have been games that he's personally struggled in. But there also have been games where the Phillies haven't scored a lot of runs for him, and tonight's one of those games.
Yeah, and he's had games where innings snowballed on him like the one could have last inning, but they bailed him out on defense.
0-1 the count to Rowland, who is 0 for 2. He's flied out to right twice.
I still can't believe that Franson even thought about throwing home on that play, let alone threw from one knee blind like that and made that good a throw. This is just a great play. Scott Rowland had to be in the dugout looking at that, saying, I don't know if I can make that play.
It could have been the play of the year for the Phillies defensively.
That was just the instincts involved in that. And ask him about that tomorrow. What were you thinking on that when it was hit to you?
Up and in, 1-2. Murph, did he predict he'd make a play like that tonight?
Well, I don't know that he actually predicted that, but you know, I was talking to him just about the way his role obviously will change now with Placido Polanco back and healthy. And, you know, he's approaching it exactly the way you expect a guy like Kevin Fress to approach it. He said, look, I've been thrilled to get the opportunity to play in these last 20 games, and hopefully I did enough to open some eyes. But, hey, you got an all-star coming back, a gold glove guy coming back. And, you know, I have to step aside, and when I get a chance to play, I just hope I can contribute. He certainly did on that play there.
He really did. I agree with Wheels. I mean, just the presence of mind. We say that guys run plays through their heads. I don't know if he ran that one through his head as Roland splits the gap and hits one to left center field. Yeah, he's going to pull in the second with a leadoff double here in the 7th. Just his 13th double of the year. I don't know. It's amazing that you could make that kind of play, and I think part of it's playing free and easy.
Yeah, you know, just you anticipate when the ball's hit to you what you're going to do before it's hit to you. But to have this ball hit to you there on one hop, dive for it, and then think, well, my only play is at third. Cozart, the guy has to think he's scoring on that play. Now all of a sudden he's sensing that I better slide. I think there's something coming in here behind me, incoming. I thought what he'd do is catch that wheel and throw to first and get an out, have second and third and a run in.
Well, instead it's 1-0 Phils, but the Reds have a leadoff batter aboard here in the 7th for Todd Frazier, who's doubled and flied out to left. Dusty Baker's comments about Frazier yesterday. He's not scared. Some kids are scared. He's not scared.
That's an ultimate compliment a manager can give a young player. Any player, really.
Close pitch, 1-1.
Because this game can scare you. He's been a great cheerleader, too, as a manager throughout his career. Dusty's a very emotional guy. You get shots of him on the bench, and he reacts. A lot of managers, you know, they try not to show any emotion. It's hard to do. Dusty's not one of them.
19 years as a major league manager, 1,558 wins.
Look at how good a player he was, too. Dusty, outstanding player. Started with the Braves, I believe, but remember him with the Dodgers in postseason against the Phillies. Good career.
2-1 the count to Frazier. Nobody out here in the top of the 7th.
Takes care of Sarge when he's in town.
Vice versa.
Well, a little bit.
Curveball, strike 2, 2-2.
That's a good pitch to throw there, because if he hits it, he may speed his bat up and pull the ball to the left side and keep rolling at second. Scott's a really good base runner.
McCure is warming in the pen for the Reds. He was in last night's ball game.
Yeah, they may take a shot here and hit for the pitcher. They get to have a chance to score.
Remains 2-2. They have an extra, a different player on their roster today offensively, because Devin Mesoraco, their catcher, is starting a 2-game suspension tonight. So Deanna Navarro is the backup catcher for the Reds. They sent out Logan Andrusik to clear a space for Navarro. So they're playing with 24 men tonight.
Right.
Two and 2 the count. Inside, 3-2.
This guy, you want to get him out. Even if he hits a ground ball to second or the right side and gets a runner over, they get a run. Even if they get a run, it's 1-1 in the 7th inning. You don't want to walk him here and give him a chance at another inning, because he struggles in the stretch. That's been well documented.
Trying to punch it the other way.
Even with 2 strikes on him, to give Frazier credit, he is trying to do that. Now, I don't know if they necessarily want him to do that here at the bottom of the order, or whether they think 1 run is that important. I would think they want him to swing here and see if he could do some damage, especially with a 3-2 count, not just give yourself up.
Inside, ball 4.
That's a really good at bat. Really good.
Well, that's the first walk issued by Cliff Lee, and now the bullpen's going to get up. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com.
You have to think about a bunt here,
particularly if they're going to pinch hit.
Right. And they have not shown pinch hitter. They have Bailey on deck, but Phillies have to play for a bunt thinking they're going to pinch hit here. Bunt them over and then hit for Bailey.
B.J. Rosenberg has started to warm up in the bullpen for the Phillies here in the 7th with nobody out. Franzen's in on the grass at third. He bunts toward first, a foul ball. He's really trying to push it toward first, which if it's
normally that's not a good play, but in this case not the worst thing because Ryan Howard's not a real good throwing first baseman. Normally you don't want to bunt towards a first baseman in that spot. You want to bunt it to third, get the third baseman away from the bag.
Hannigan tonight is 1 for 2. He singled up the middle in the 5th. Phillies 1, Reds nothing. The Phils scored a run in the 1st.
Thinking Franson backed up a little bit. I think they still think he's going to bunt, but they're not as sure now with one strike that now here he comes.
And he does bunt, foul.
Bad.
0-2 the count.
Not a good effort. I just don't. Bunting the ball towards first base is just not the way to do it unless they just think that Ryan Howard's not going to be able to throw it over there. Could be.
I still think if he bunts it hard, Ryan will take a chance and go to third. Well, now they'll play the infield, a double play depth. Franzen is a step or two behind the bag, creeping in.
All right, you back up now.
0-2 the count as it's fouled away.
Bailey keeps turning around talking to Dusty Baker. Homer Bailey, the pitcher, in the on-deck circle, and Baker's right there behind him. See Dusty with his hand on his hip. There he is.
There's Miguel Cairo, who's sitting down behind everybody. Bat in hand, gloves on. Now the 0-2 pitch coming to Hannigan. And that one's low, 1-2.
Cliff Lee was sailing along in this game. Now all of a sudden 2 difficult innings have cropped up.
Well, he's at 102 pitches. Last inning 18 pitches. This inning 17.
See how he went 14 and 10-10. Looking pretty good in there. And then 18, and this one far from over.
Velocity's still good. Location maybe a little up with his fastball.
Up till last inning, there really hadn't been much action in the infield.
No.
He'd like some action in the infield right now.
Right toward the middle to Utley or Rollins. Number 8 hitters to your left, and Cliff Lee pitching here in the 7th inning is ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes. Curveball, and he rolls over on it foul and right into the waiting hand of Cozart, who's up the stairs. From a Red standpoint, the Pirates play later on against the Padres. A.J. Burnett is on the mound for Pittsburgh.
They lost last night to San Diego.
So that's why the Reds remain 6.5 games up in the Central. St. Louis shutting out Houston 4-0 in the 3rd. Runners not being held on. And the pitch. Back toward the middle, a base hit into center field. Rollins around third, heading for home. Here's the throw by Mayberry. It's offline, and it goes off Ryan Howard. picked up by Kratz, and everybody moves up, and the ball game is tied at 1. Well, that's going to have to be an error on Ryan, and an RBI single for Hannigan, who gets the base hit with 2 strikes.
Yeah, there's another good at bat he put on Lee. They've done that in this inning, and started with Roland hitting the changeup to left center on the double, and then 2 good at bats. But the ball, Ryan Howard's in the perfect cutoff position. There it goes right back through the middle. Again, right past the glove of Cliff Lee. Now, Roland, excellent base runner that he is, he's going to score here. Mayberry does hit the cutoff man a little bit high, but obviously should be handled by Howard, and now they both move up.
They're going to score an E3 to allow the runners to advance. You do give an RBI to Hannigan, the catcher. So it's a 1-1 ball game, and Bailey will stay in the game. And still nobody out here in the 7th. Well, he dodged the bullet in the 6th, and now he's facing a very difficult spot here in the 7th. 8 hits now for the Reds. They're going to play the infield in for Bailey, of course. Just be leery of the squeeze. Rosenberg is warming in the pen. Swing it away.
Yeah,
it's 0-1.
And I would say you wouldn't squeeze with nobody out, because if it doesn't work and you bunt into a double play, let's say,
yep,
you know, you still have the top of the order. If Bailey makes an out here, they have the top of the order coming up with 1 out and 2nd and 3rd. So what they want Bailey to do is not do anything that could possibly cause 2 outs right now.
Frazier leads off 3rd. 1-2 the count to Homer Bailey. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Washington Steven Strasburg went through the delay and still has 10 strikeouts. Nationals lead the Braves 1-0.
They stay on schedule. He would pitch here Sunday. It would be his 5th day.
And he'd be even closer to winding down the regular season,
they say.
Nationals may be adding to their lead right now as we speak. The 1-2. And there's a strikeout. Number 9 for Lee. And 1 out here in the 7th.
Now they're looking in the dugout to see if they wanted to play back. You're still in the 7th inning at home with 3 at bats left.
I guess tough bullpen. Now, I'm still not sure if Aroldis Chapman is available today for the Reds. That they think he probably is. So they're going to talk about it now. Utley goes over to talk to Howard. They're going to play the infield in.
Yeah, and you would figure their guy at 3rd is going to go on contact now on a ground ball. Lee just
faked over to 3rd again.
Who did he get on that this year?
I forget who it was.
Yeah.
Was it Dexter Fowler? I don't remember.
Now. On that play, Wigginton was the 3rd baseman when they did it.
Big curveball. Might be running out a little gas here.
Oh yeah.
One score here at the top of the 7th. Zip on that fastball, and it's 1-1. He has 9 strikeouts. He has strikeouts in his repertoire, obviously. He has 21 strikeouts in the last 2 games. He's had 2 strikes tonight against, or this inning, against Frazier and Hannigan. And he wasn't able to put him on, or put him away, I should say. Frazier's at third. Hannigan's at second. With the infield in, the 1-2. Fly ball center field. It's going to be deep enough to score the run. Frazier's under it. Mayberry makes the catch. Hannigan draws the throw, and it's 2-1 Cincinnati. A sacrifice fly by Cozart.
Heck of a job by another young player with 2 strikes. Another guy that doesn't play scared.
Well, Frazier congratulated. So is Cozart as they come into the dugout. And now Drew Stubbs with a runner at second. Just a 2-1 game. Phillies have had a lot of success against the Reds, and now they're going to need some offensive success to erase this deficit. Up high, 1-0. Have to figure this is going to be his last batter no matter what. He's at 114 pitches. "57 runs for Lee so far this year. That's all the Phillies have scored for him as Kratz throws to second. 57 runs and now 165 innings.
Yeah, real good shot at 2 runs in the first inning. He only got 1, and now they're trailed by a run.
How about the Phillies have been held to 3 runs or less in 13 of his 21 starts? And that's not counting tonight.
It's unreal. Quote the manager.
Hannigan leads off second. 2-0 pitch. The changeup that was up.
You still figure that Lee's their best option, and that's a little bit of a commentary on the bullpen problems.
31 pitches in this inning alone. He's at 116. Line drive, base hit to left field. Pierre gets to it quickly. Hannigan's being waved home, and the throw will go to second. And it's now 3-1 in favor of the Reds. Well, that's going to be it for Cliff Lee. Drew Stubbs, an RBI single, his second hit of the night. Ryan Hannigan scores. And Charlie Manuel with the slow walk out to the mound is going to bring in B.J. Rosenberg. So Cliff Lee goes 6 2/3 tonight. And he'll give the baseball off to Charlie Manuel. This is another tough game for Cliff in which he struck out 9. Rosenberg comes trotting in. We've got a call to the bullpen here in Philadelphia. Phillies trail it by 2. We'll be back right after this. for B.J. Rosenberg to come in and get the final out here in the 7th inning. Cliff Lee very frustrated as he departed the dugout a moment ago, just to catch his breath a little bit going down the stairs. It was a very frustrating inning. It's been a frustrating couple of innings, and it's been a frustrating season. You don't normally see Cliff show a lot of emotion. And he obviously showed some emotion there as he came off the field. Brandon Phillips is the hitter. He's 2 for 3. He's doubled, he's single. So Rosenberg is on to try to get the last out here in the 7th inning. And a throw over to first. Rosenberg 0-1, a 12.38 earned run average. Yeah, the other play, which is a big play in this inning too, is the error by Ryan Howard over at first on the cutoff.
Sure. Because you don't know if they'd have pinch hit there, whether they would have let or asked Bailey to bunt, and there's no guarantee he gets him over. But in that case, it was like he'd gotten him over.
Yeah, because you figure if the inning went according or went as it did, first and second, Bailey still hits, maybe he would have sacrificed and moved the runners over.
But you don't know that he bunts them over, that he can get them over. That's what I mean. You know, you can't even assume that. So that play is huge because that got those guys over without the pitcher having to get a bunt down, who then struck out. So that's the little things that we talked about early in the game. There's Cliff Lee, that have hurt them all year, and they had made those brilliant defensive plays in the 6th inning.
Well, down by 2 outs here in the 7th. Brandon Phillips waits for the first pitch, and it's a fastball. 0-1. Stubbs has got good speed. You got to keep an eye on him. He has 28 stolen bases.
And that's what they keep throwing over.
Opposite way, Utley to his left knocks it down, and Phillips will be safe. Well, the inning continues, and now Ryan Ludwig will be up with 2 runners on and 2 outs.
It's a play that Chase Utley will tell you he should make. Now, how they score it, we'll see. But he was there, and the ball kicked off his glove.
Yeah, they're going to score that an error. It's the 5th error of the year for Utley. 2nd error of the inning for the Phillies. Ryan Ludwig is 0 for 3. It was his fielder's choice that, well, it was a great play by Kevin Franzen over at 3rd and the 6th.
Whew. Incoming.
Big time. The Reds are touting Ryan Ludwig as the comeback player of the year, or one of them, a candidate for the comeback player of the year. I don't know. Adam LaRoche of the Nationals may have won that award, but it's a pretty good race.
It's one of the least coveted awards in baseball.
Yeah, you don't really want to win that one.
No.
You don't want to win it twice.
Mm-mm.
Oh, 2 the count, 94 in the hands. A year ago, 241, 11 home runs. His RBI total was in the 70s by the end of the year when he was traded to Pittsburgh. But we mentioned before, and he says Petco Park, and it's his fault, it changed him. He just, you know, was so worried about hitting home runs there and couldn't, that it changed the kind of swing that he would put on.
He could hit him when he was with the Cardinals. He sure hit him against the Phillies.
He checked. Did he go? Ooh, that looked like a strike. Anyway.
Looked like he had a lot of the plate.
Surprised they didn't appeal. Now the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball in the inning. comes to a close. But the Reds scored 3 runs in the inning. They send 8 men to the plate. Time to stretch here in Philadelphia. The Phils have some work offensively when we come back. He's traded Dave Schneck to the Reds for what player?
No idea.
Yes, you do.
Well, when you tell me, we get a hint.
Well,
I'm begging.
This is. You should know this. You're the man's biographer.
I'm the man's biographer.
Yes. Dominic Brown will lead off the 7th. And he takes a breaking ball from Homer Bailey.
He wasn't even born then, Dominic Brown.
No. Dominic is 0 for 2. He's struck out. He's also grounded out to short.
Biographer.
1-1 the count.
Go ahead. Give it to the fans.
You're going to kick yourself when you see this answer.
Yeah, obviously you think it's really easy. And I'm sick of hearing that buzzer.
Down the left field line. Long run for Ludwig, the left fielder, and he makes the catch. So 1 away. Wheels, let me introduce you to the late, great John Vukovich.
Oh, it's Johnny. No kidding.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stuff the Feds.
One of the worst trades in Phillies history.
I wanted to play hot cold with you at some point.
Yeah, well, that might. Well, if you'd have said that, I might have thought of that. That was Vuk for Dave Schneck, huh?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Kevin Franzen's 1 for 2. Singled his last time up. Bailey delivers on the outside corner, and it's 0-1. Sean Marshall's the lefty warming up in the pen for the Reds. And LeCure, the right-hander, continues to loosen up.
Well, Bailey, who's really struggled the last few times out, have gotten them to a great part of the game right now where they like these guys out there.
What a 2 the count.
Vuk started the season with the Reds playing third base, and Sparky said, don't worry what you hit. He struggled hitting. They had a guy named George Foster. They wanted to get him some playing time.
Played him at third?
No, they put Pete at third.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
But Pete Rose came in and said, I'll play third. Vuk said, no, you won't. Yeah, I'll play third. And then put Foster in left, and the big red machine really took off again.
Wow. 2-2 the count to Franzen. Over toward the hole, a base hit. A one-out single here in the 7th inning. And Pete eventually went over to play first. He played second, first, and then the outfield, then third.
Right. He was a second baseman when he first came up, and then he wound up in the outfield. Then he played third, and then he became a first baseman. But for the years that the Big Red Machine was in operation, Tony Perez was playing over there at first base.
Then Dan Dreesen would play some first base.
He would play some first, yeah, and outfield.
Well, Eric Kratz could tie this baby up with one swing. He's 0 for 2. They've pitched away from him for a majority of the night. They are deep in the outfield. Ludwig is way back and left. And he fouls away a fastball, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, they're trying to stay away from a double here.
Lance Nix is out on deck to pinch hit.
And Marshall's ready for him. And then you get Wigginton probably. So looking ahead, if they go to the left-hander, that's what would happen. Marshall's done a great job in the bullpen for them. He was a starter with the Cubs.
Line drive down the left field line. A fair ball heading to the corner. Franzen will go to third. Ludwig throws it in. It's a double for Kratz, second and third with one man down.
Well, they can't prevent that double. You stick those outfielders all the way back to protect the alleys and over your head. You fire one down the line, that's a double. Ludwig did a heck of a job on that ball. That thing looked like it was going to shoot along the warning track right past it. He's watching it on the message board as we watch it right here. Now watch it when it hits the wall, how this thing shoots. Boy, he did a good job on this. Right there. I think it took a crazy carom. He did a tremendous job going to the wall and cutting that ball off because it looked like it was going to keep on going.
Yeah, it would have went away from him. Franzen would have scored.
Right.
Kratz may have still stayed at second, but he would have at least had an RBI.
Yeah.
Or at least the Phillies would have had a run. So a pitching change.
They've had 2 plays in the outfield tonight you look back on that were really key so far.
So we've got a pitching change here in Philadelphia. Sean Marshall's coming on. We'll see how Charlie Manuel counters when we return. iPad, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text AtBat to 31826 or visit Phillies.com for details. Sean Marshall is the new pitcher for the Reds. And he's going to face Ty Wigginton, who will be introduced as a pinch hitter for the Phillies. Marshall 4-4, 2.70 earned run average. He has been used to close.
Long way to go in this game, and they're going to play the infield back now. You'll be able to make it 3-2 with a ground ball and still have 2 at bats and an out left. I mean 2 innings and an at bat left in this inning, or an out left.
Well, Lance Nix was scheduled to hit. That's why Dusty Baker brought in the left-hander. He was introduced.
He was.
It happened fast.
Sure did.
So that's why Charlie now counters with Wigginton. We didn't know if the umpire had signaled him in the game.
Because that's the move right there that we talked about. If they bring Nix out, You know, Marshall's going to come in for Nix, and then you'd use Wigginton.
Franzen's at third. Kratz is at second. With one out, Wigginton is the batter. The infield is back with a 2-run lead for Cincinnati. Want to know the count to Wigginton.
Right, you make it 3-2 now with contact in the infield. That's important. Not waste this run out there. They wasted one in the first inning.
Two 2-0 the count. Rollins is on deck. Nobody else is warming right now for the Reds. Marshall's allowed 4 inherited runners to score. Inside 3-0. That was the first fastball he threw. He threw 2 breaking pitches to start the at-bat.
Yeah, he likes his breaking stuff, especially left-hand hitter, slider, and curveball.
Inside ball 4. The bases are loaded. Well, good at bat by Wigginton, not to be too anxious.
Sure was.
The disappointing eyes of Cliff Lee, who trails it 3-1, is hoping his team takes him off the hook here. Rollins does have a base hit in 3 official at-bats. He has scored the only run for the Phillies. And there's the first strike of the night for Marshall. And it's 0-1.
Playing their outfielder's normal now because of the situation where the runner at second base is a tying run. And it's just a normal outfield defense.
They have good arms in right and center, and pretty good arm in left in Ludwig. Outside, 1-1.
He'll throw that big sweeper he threw there. That curveball of his is really tough on left-handed hitters. There was again.
Dusty flipping that toothpick around. Charlie chewing the gum. Every manager has their thing. 2-1 the count. Line drive down the left field line. Fair ball going to the corner. 1 run scores. Here comes Kratz. He's going to score. Wigginton pulls into third. We're tied up at 3. Jimmy Rollins with a 2-run double.
Three straight curveballs. He missed with the first 2. Got the plate with that one, and Jimmy nailed it. Kept it fair by a couple feet. Here's a look at it. Another curveball. That one gets in the middle of the plate, and he whacks it down that line.
17 hits away, or 16 hits away, I should say, from 2000 for his career. He picks up a couple RBIs. Deep enough for Kratz to score, of course. That ball was a bobble away from scoring Ty Wigginton from first. Now second and third with one out. Now Charlie does have Placido Polanco and Michael Martinez available on the bench, but he's going to go with Juan Pierre.
Yeah, and everybody's going to be taking a lot of look at Juan Samuel right now because this is a potential squeeze situation. You don't have a great runner at third. You have a guy that if he do it, he could probably get the bunt down for you. So, you know, the Reds may even pitch out early.
Pierre tonight is 0 for 3. Rowland is in at third on the grass. Everybody else is in on the edge of the grass. Now they creep in. And the first pitch, a tough strike on the inside corner. It's 0-1.
Really good job to answer back again. They've been doing a little more of this lately. Did it last night, did it again tonight.
3-3 here in the seventh. He bunts toward the right side. Here comes Wigginton. Marshall's throw, and he is out at the plate. That was a safety squeeze, not a straight squeeze.
Yeah, he did that on his own, and you know Wigginton Reed Marshall made a really good play. Let me give him credit. The ball's bunted kind of hard. You have a left-handed pitcher. You think he's going to fall off towards third. He really didn't. He stayed in that area pretty good and got back. Watch what he does here. Here's Juan Pierre. He just bunts this on his own. Look at that left-handed pitcher, how quickly he got to that side of the diamond, and then braces himself for the collision, does Hannigan. Here it is again. Now watch Marshall. You think he'd flop over to the third base side. He doesn't. He comes right over to here real fast and makes a terrific throw across his body. Give him a lot of credit, the pitcher, on this. This is not an easy play. All that stuff he had to do right there is tough. And he made a really good play on it.
You know, and Hannigan backed off, bracing himself for contact. Ty probably could have slid it to the back of the whole plate.
Yeah, well, I think Hannigan was going to follow him.
Yeah.
He had plenty of time to just size up what was going to happen there. But I think Marshall made an outstanding play there. You got to give him a lot of credit.
Yep.
Most big left-handers like that, after they throw, they're going to fall way over towards third base and be totally out of position. Juan Pierre had to think that when he bunted it, that he put it in an area that a left-hander is not going to go get that.
Ty, not the quickest runner. He didn't have a great secondary lead off third. But the Phillies now have first and third with 2 outs. They still have a chance to take the lead here in the seventh. Utley has 2 hits today. He's been hit by a pitch. 1-0 the count to him. A 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
There it is again. Look at Marshall. Big, tall guy goes over, scoops that off the grass, makes a strong throw, and then Hannigan just braces for the collision. He would just follow him with his eyes wherever he was going to go.
You're right, though. The fact that Marshall came around it and was able to field it cleanly.
He did so many things right there. A lot of pitchers can't make that play. Like I said, and he's a big, tall guy, too, to bend down like that, scoop it with his glove. A lot of things could have gone wrong.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Utley. Rowland just went over to Marshall just to remind him that Rollins is at third, and he's taken a pretty extensive lead.
Yeah, and Marshall has his back to him.
But with Rowland playing way off the bag, Jimmy has a chance to do that.
Well, that's another one of those things. Don't go lobbing any throws over to first either. We saw that earlier this year with Bryce Harper.
Inside, 2-1.
They give him a throw over, which they have not to this point. That's one of those things as a pitcher, you got to throw it hard over there to first.
Pierre leads off first. Did he go? They'll appeal. Nope. 3-1, says Bill Miller.
Good call. 7th inning has been pretty good, top and bottom. A lot of stuff going on.
Chase takes strike 2. Pierre will be off on this pitch. 3-2 with 2 outs. Pierre at first, Rollins at third. 2 runs are in.
The way he's been hooking balls in the hole, yeah, they're going to play off. They're going to take a chance here and play Phillips in the hole and play the first baseman off and take a lot of that area away where Utley's been hitting the ball tonight.
Utley set. Hit in the air softly right side, and Phillips makes the catch. And the inning is over. But the Phillies do tie it up. A 2-run double by Jimmy Rollins here at the bottom of the 7th inning has pulled the Phils even at 3 as we go to the 8th. Care and by WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Oh, a crowd of 45,091 on hand tonight, and it's a 3-3 game as we go to the top of the 8th inning. It's turned out to be a battle of the bullpens the way things have gone. Antonio Bastardo will come on for the Phils, 2-4 with a 5.35 ERA. This is his 47th game. And he's coming on to face Jay Bruce, Scott Rowland, Todd Frazier here in the 8th inning. Back-to-back nights now for Antonio Bastardo. Reds with 3 runs on 9 hits. The Phillies with 3 runs on 8 hits. Each team has committed an error. In fact, the Phillies have committed 2. Jay Bruce tonight is 0 for 3. He's struck out twice. He's also hit into a double play. Bastardo ready for the first pitch. Swing and a miss. 0-1. Talked to Antonio a little bit today, just about his fastball last night, and he was happy with it. It was a good pitch. I mean, it was down. It had some good plane to it, good velocity, good jump to it. Now it's 0-2. So do you feel it okay? He said, yeah. I said, we were surprised last night. We looked down and it shook our memory that it's been since the 8th of August that you were in a game.
Who is this guy?
Now the 0-2 to Bruce. In the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cliff Lee, 6 2/3, 9 hits, 9 strikeouts, 3 runs. B.J. Rosenberg, 1/3, and now Bastardo.
Yeah, both starters pitched to no decisions.
And Bastardo gets a strikeout of Bruce. 3rd time tonight that Bruce has struck out. And it's the 11th strikeout overall for Phillies pitching. Budweiser, through the Walk Off a Hero program, will donate $5,000 to Folds of Honor for every Phillies walk-off win. Please join Budweiser and the Phillies in honoring those who keep our nation safe and free. Jonathan Broxton is in the bullpen for the Reds.
Boy, that looked different seeing him in that uni, huh? Look at the games he's had in this ballpark. A lot of unpleasant memories for him.
Rowland fouls the first pitch away. Let's hope there's another one.
Yeah, talk about a guy that needs to mentally wipe the slate clean. Maybe a new uniform will do that for him.
He's a big cat.
He doesn't throw as hard as he used to. They say he's changed a little bit. He doesn't just try to rear back and fire. Use his slider a little bit more.
Speaking of sliders, Dominic Brown will make the catch for the second out here in the 8th. Scott Rowland got that 7th inning started with his leadoff double. He's retired here. Frazier's coming up. Frazier's 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And a strike. It's 0-1.
They're playing him towards right center.
Mentioned what Dusty said about Frazier, that he's not scared. He also said he's unconventional, unorthodox in the way he hits, but he still hits. And there you go. Deep to left field, and the Reds are going to have the lead. 18th home run of the year for Todd Frazier. And it's a 4-3 ball game.
I was thinking they're playing him towards right center, and yet I've seen him on TV a lot hit home runs towards left and left center, and he golfed the fastball, looked like, out of the ballpark. It's got to be a thrill for him in his yard in this area to do that. I think he might be a low ball hitter. Whew. Whew, that was impressive.
So the Reds are back on top, 4-3. And now Ryan Hannigan, who is 2 for 3 with an RBI single and a run scored. Strike 1. 0-1. Well, will Frazier be the Rookie of the Year? He might be. Wade Miley of the Diamondbacks is putting together a pretty good season as a pitcher. He was an all-star.
Well, that was really impressive. When you see where his hands start to drop it down there and hit that ball off the ground almost, that is unconventional.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. Three and 1 the count to Ryan Hannigan. He's the number 8 hitter. Cairo is the guy up next. A foul ball down the third base line. Phillies do have an extra right-hander in the bullpen tonight. Philippe Almont has been brought up since Jeremy Horse is out on paternity leave. So Almont, wearing number 48, is out in the bullpen.
Yeah, and this is not the kind of game you necessarily want him to make his major league debut with all the pressure, but we'll see what happens.
3-2 the count.
Lindblom threw a lot of pitches last night. They didn't know. It was one of those they got to check before the game to see if he was available.
There's Almont, number 48, standing next to Schwimmer. Lindblom sitting in the chair.
Those are two tall pitchers right
Sure
there.
are. 6'7", 260 pounds. Charlie said before Amont leaves, whether it's today or tomorrow or after tomorrow, he'd like to see him pitch at some point.
Right.
Miguel Cairo will pinch hit here in the 8th inning. They had him ready to go in the 7th, but they didn't use him. Pops it up. He'll be out of play. Cairo started last night hitting 168 with a home run and 11 RBIs. Swing and a miss, so at 2. Looking ahead to the Phillies' 8th, it's Howard, Mayberry, and Brown due up. Broxton's been warming in the pen, so you figure he's going to be the guy coming out for the Reds.
Which may mean Chapman's available.
Yeah, they thought he would be today.
Yeah.
On the outside corner. Cairo goes down looking. Side is retired here in the 8th, but the Reds do take the lead on the home run by Todd Frazier. Ryan Howard getting ready to hit when we come back for the bottom of the 8th here in Philadelphia. Monday, September 10th, the Phillies start a 3-game series against the Miami Marlins. All 3 games, or 2 games, are 7:05. The second one's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. Wednesday, the 12th, is a 4:05 start. It's Citizens Bank Pride of the Phillies poster, free to all fans. Tickets are available at Phillies.com. On to the 8th inning we go. Phillies trail it by 1, 4-3. Yep, Jonathan Broxton is coming in the ball game. He's over from the American League. His numbers have not been as great with the Reds as they were with the Royals. He was darn good for the Royals, and he was a commodity at the trade deadline. The Reds got him to be one of the setup men for Aroldis Chapman.
He's looking over at that Phillies dugout thinking, well, Stairs isn't around. That's good. Ruiz can't play. That's real good. Those are guys that really hurt him.
Rollins has already hit.
Yeah.
So unless I get into real trouble, he won't bat here. There's Michael Martinez and Placido Polanco. They're ready to go. Ryan Howard will lead it off for the Phillies. It's the Reds 4, the Phillies 3. Broxton had 23 saves for the Royals and posted a 2.27 ERA. He allowed 1 home run. He struck out 25 in 35 2/3. He did allow base runners, though. Want to know the count to Howard. Inside, 2-0.
You can imagine Ryan's hit off him. He's 0 for 8 with 6 strikeouts.
And there you go.
Carlos Ruiz, 4 for 4 with 3 doubles and 6 RBI.
Let's activate him.
Some of those guys you remember really hurt Broxton.
Outside, 3-0. Ryan usually gets the green light. We'll see what happens here.
If he does, he's got to be middle in.
The count to Howard. 3 infielders on the right side of the diamond. And he's taking 3-1.
Good pitch to take. Fastball away.
Outside, ball 4. Good patient at bat for Ryan Howard. We'll see if they pinch run for him.
From a slider, it looked like something off speed.
Michael Martinez, I think, is looking for his helmet. What they would do is they would tinker with their outfield if Martinez pinch runs here. There he comes.
Broxton, see if this isn't a breaking ball. Yeah. Just a big old spinner coming up. They're good at bat by Ryan Howard.
So Howard is pinch run for. The tying run is aboard. Now John Mayberry is the batter.
Reds have to think this team never goes away. How'd they lose all these games?
Dusty did say that. Martinez leads off first. Not a big lead. And Mayberry takes strike 1. 0-1.
Broxton didn't change his glove. He still uses that real light glove he had all the time with the Dodgers.
Pants are still baggy. Wheels, that's a Mizuno glove.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
He is a big guy.
Oh, yeah.
Ground ball towards second. That could be 2. Phillips the flip for 1. 4-6-3 double play. And now with 2 outs, Dominic Brown will be the batter. Well, he found his location.
So he got a fastball. That pitch, a good pitch to hit. He just smothered it into a double play. You look at where that thing was. That was a pitch you could really drive.
I looked where Hannigan was set up and said, well, that's where it must have been, but it wasn't.
And he missed it.
Dominic hitless tonight. He's reached base safely in 15 of the 20 games he's played so far.
Brockton's fastball been 95, 6, 7, so he still has velocity. Heard he's been using a lot more sliders, and that's what he did with Ryan Howard there to walk him.
Well, there's that slider, and it's 1-1.
Little biter down and in. Good pitch to hit, though, for a left-handed hitter.
So Amont warming up in the pen. He may be making his major league debut in a few minutes. One and two the count. 98 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's still got a pretty good arm. Just a heck of a pickup for the Reds. Now, they were a team that thought they were going to have Ryan Madson in their bullpen all year. Of course, if Madson had been there, then Chapman may not have been given the chance to close.
Still would have been a heck of a back end.
Not bad.
If they made him a reliever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was some talk about him starting early in the season. If, when Madson came over to close.
Now it's 1-2 to Dominic Brown. 2-2. Franzen's on deck. Phillies down by 1. They led it 1-0. Then trailed it 3-1. Tied it at 3. Now they trail it 4-3. Over to second base, and it eats up Brandon Phillips. Yeah, we were talking about him being a Gold Glove candidate, and he is, but that may be his second error of the night. We'll see how they score that.
Ball hit hard, but it should be an error.
His error opened up the door for a run in the first. Now they've scored it a base hit.
All right. Good.
Well, Kevin Franzen will now get a chance to hit. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Franzen's batting average is up to .342 with his 2 hits. He's now 12 for his last 33. That's counting the road trip and now this game here. Fights it the other way, a foul ball. Inches from a number of things. A base hit, a catch by Frazier. He made a heck of a attempt at this one.
Yeah, it could have been a lot of things. And all it is just a foul ball.
Now Papelbon has joined Almont in the bullpen.
Papelbon, the only team he doesn't have a save against in Major League Baseball are the Reds.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he'll get a chance.
Opposite way, a base hit down the right field line. Brown's around second, going to third. Bruce cuts it off. Somwell's waving him home. Here's the throw. Phillips, the cutoff man, comes to the plate. RBI triple, Kevin Franzen. He comes through again. It's a 4-4 ball game here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, that's a heck of a night for a 30-year-old. Getting a chance and coming through.
Bruce was after that thing in a hurry, too, and then we lost sight of him down that corner. Juan Somwell was watching, and then he really wants to gamble here. It's a slider, and you see him hit it towards the corner. Let's see what happens. There it is. He bobbled it. See, he was getting into that corner so quickly. I thought he no way he's going to be able to score him. And Brown looked like he was running out of gas coming in there.
First triple since 2007 for Kevin Franzen. Good for him. And he has himself a 3-hit night and a sparkling play over at third. Now all even at 4 and Kratz is up.
The Franzen Kratz show, why not?
Up and in, 1-0. Polanco's out on the on-deck circle to pinch hit for the pitcher.
But Broxton get beaten with a slider there. I thought, Juan Somwell, you could see him was watching, and he was hoping something like that happened. Because if Bruce makes that play, he's not going to be able to score Brown.
Like you said, he really wanted to, too.
Oh, he wants to there. He wants to gamble, too.
Swing and a miss.
He wanted to gamble, but, you know, if the guy backhands it, gets it right back into the cutoff, man, he's out by 30 feet. You don't want to do that either.
Papelbon's going to come in no matter what, it seems. Ahmad sat down. It'll either be a Phillies lead or a tie ball game going to the ninth.
Well, they stay after this Cincinnati thing.
Franzen leads off third. 1-1 the count to Kratz. Hit hard toward third, and Scott Rowland doesn't misplay many. And he almost allowed that one to eat him up. 5-3 on the putout. The side is retired. However, Kevin Franzen is having himself a night. His RBI triple scores Dominic Brown hustling as hard as he can to get home before any kind of throw. And we go to the ninth. Mutual defensive play of the game.
This is one of the great plays you'll see all year. Bases loaded, wherewithal to wheel, fire, get the force out at the plate. Look at this again. Throws blind. Bases loaded, nobody out, and they would get out of that jam. Our Liberty Mutual defensive play of the game. And we segue right to the W.B. Mason delivery of the game. Here comes that Franzen guy again. A slider from Broxton, shoots it towards the corner. Bruce is over there quickly, but then when he backhands it, kicks off his glove. Juan Samuel windmills Dominic Brown home. We got a tie game. A lot of it has to do with Kevin Franzen.
Well, Kevin Franzen has 3 hits tonight. An RBI. A heck of a play. He's hitting .350. All right, defensive changes. Michael Martinez, as suspected, will stay in the game to play center field. John Mabry moves from center field over to first base. And Jonathan Papelbon is on in a tie game here at home in the top of the 9th inning. He'll face the top of the order. It's Cozart, Drew Stubbs, Brandon Phillips. The Reds have 2 pitchers warming up. Chapman is one of them. Oh boy. Cozart sends one in the air deep to left field, and the Reds take the lead again. On the first pitch here in the 9th inning, it's a 5-4 game.
What a game. Boy, a couple of their kids are coming through big time. Cozart went up there, first ball, fastball, and he got it. And now you're going to see Chapman. Here it is. Oh my, right down the middle, up, headed towards the barrel, and he didn't miss it.
Well, Frazier, who gave the Reds the lead in the 8th inning, watches Cozart give the Reds the lead here in the 9th. And Stubbs fouls the first pitch back. It's 0-1.
2 pretty good looking young players, huh? Then you factor in Votto and Bruce on that club. They get some youth and some good looking players.
Stubbs is 2 for 4. He has hits in his last 2 at bats and an RBI.
They do hit some homers.
They
too.
do.
Ooh.
They now take the lead over the Brewers for the most home runs in the National League. Although I say that the Brewers are up 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th of their game. They may have hit a home run tonight. One ball, one strike to count to Stubbs. Slider for a strike. It's 1-2.
One of the fans that's going to stick around are going to see this guy right now, and he is some show.
The debate on whether you give a relief pitcher the Cy Young Award is taking a little heat this year because of what Chapman's been able to do. I mean, there are a lot of National League pitchers, starters, who are putting together phenomenal seasons, but that guy out of the pen is putting together a phenomenal year.
The Phillies had one win the Cy Young Award, Steve Bedrosian.
2-2 the count to Stubbs. A foul ball, it remains 2-2. That home run for Cozart is 14th, just his 30th RBI of the season. He has 2 RBIs tonight. The sac fly in the 7th, the homer in the 9th. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Stubbs here in the top of the 9th. Inside, 3-2. Tried the slider again. Some have left, not everyone, obviously, of the 45,000. That's because the Bills have shown a little spunk here tonight. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1, 2, 3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long. Now 3-2 to Stubbs. Brandon Phillips on deck. Swing and a miss. He got him. 13th strikeout tonight for Phillies pitching. Reds have scored a run. Brandon Phillips is up now. He's been on base 3 times tonight, twice with hits, once on an error by Utley. So officially 2 for 4. Inside, 1-0. Now the Phillies bottom of the 9th, the bottom of the order, 9-1-2 to face Aroldis Chapman. Off to the right, 1 ball and 1 strike. Think about the second half. The Phillies 20-15 since the break. The Reds 27-11. The Phillies certainly have played better baseball. Last night they scored 12 runs. Tonight it hasn't been a clean game, but they've been able to show some heart these last couple innings. They're going to have to show it again.
Yeah, big time.
Into the or off the top of the dugout. It's 1-2.
Yeah, they as you say, not a clean game because they left two guys at third base tonight with less than 2 outs, and now you're down to losing again by 1 run. But a lot of good things have happened in this game too, as you say, show some heart, because the Reds are a really good team, and the odds are they're going to win their division and go to postseason.
And a foul ball. It remains 1-2. Mets have lost tonight 6-2. Washington, they're leading 4-1. That game's in the 9th inning. Braves are kicking up a little bit of a fuss.
It's Strasburg again.
10 strikeouts tonight for Strasburg. Miami trails Arizona. That's early. It's 5-2 in the second. How about the Giants put a 2-spot up on the Dodgers in the first?
Still have 2 men on, nobody out.
Now the 1-2 pitch coming to Phillips. Inside, 2-2.
This game was flying along for 6 innings, and then there have been all kinds of stuff going on since then.
There's Chapman.
Well, he'll come in throwing 100, and he's improved his breaking ball.
Over toward third, diving stop. Franzen from his knees. He spikes it in time to get Phillips. Well, maybe they'll get him up again in the 9th inning, and it could just be his night.
He's unconscious right now.
Listen to the reaction from the crowd.
Well, they love him.
They love it.
Yeah, he's a dirt ball type of player, and you're a dirt ball player in this town. They love you. That's makes all kinds of throws too. That's a 3-hopper. He had no choice. He's on his belly. He can't pop up here and get a guy like Phillips. I guess that's what he figures. So I'm going to throw it from my knees again. I'll say one thing: his throws from his knees are right on target.
They are. We're going to have to scrub that uniform tonight. Now Ludwig with 2 outs. And a strike on the inside corner. You figure Polanco is going to lead off the 9th inning for the Phillies. Because they only have Schneider or Polanco.
Right. Polanco will lead off, then you go to the top of the order.
0-1 the count. Just a bit outside, 1 ball and 1
I saw
strike.
Chapman in postseason a couple years ago when he had that phantom hit batter on Chase Utley in that game, that crazy second game here that the Phillies wound up winning.
To right field, Dominic Brown is there. It's right at him. And he makes the catch. Now the Phillies will have to do it again. They'll have to come from behind in their final at bat here at the bottom of the 9th inning. Kevin Franzen's not due up at all at the bottom of the 9th inning, but his defense tonight, his offense, well, everything's been sparkly except for his uniform. This was another tremendous play over at third base. Now let's see what the Phillies offense could do when we get back. from the clubhouse. It's all on the Phillies postgame show, live from Sugar House Casino. And it's coming up right after the game. Kevin Franzen has taken a beating tonight over at third base. He's trying to catch his breath there. He's had a dive all over the place for some plays in tonight's game. Not only that, he has the RBI triple. He's a little sore right now. He's got blood on his jersey from his elbows, which are all scuffed up. Aroldis Chapman into the ball game, 5-4 this year, 1.35 ERA. Well, the hits in 60 innings and the strikeouts in 60 innings, those are numbers that are kind of mesmerizing for anybody. But he is 5-4. He has lost 4 games.
How about that too?
Yeah, that was the big thing, whether he could keep his control in check, and he has. Named to the All-Star team. He went to spring training, they thought, to be a starting pitcher. Polanco will lead it off, and the first pitch upstairs, it's 1-0. He could throw in the low hundreds.
Oh yeah.
Polanco pitch hitting, 259 on the year. Grounds one toward the hole. Picked up by Kozar. He won't have a play. It's an infield single. Here we go.
I think you bunt him over either, because then you go left with Pierre. I think you want Jimmy Rollins swinging the bat here and hopefully he can do something.
Yeah, because you don't have anybody left except for left-handed hitting Brian Schneider.
So it's not a bunt situation.
Rowan will be in on the grass at third just in case.
Plus, you imagine trying to bunt off this guy. That would take a little courage. Well, I'm going to square on this 100 coming here.
The Reds are not sure.
Oh, you're right, exactly. They have to look for it. Just don't think they're going to do that, because then you're going left after that. So this is your right-handed hitter. You're going left with Pierre Utley Howard.
And he bunts to the right side. Chapman up with it, fires to second for 1. So fielder's choice. 1-6 on the putout, and now Pierre is up. Well, Pierre is up now. He's 0 for 4. Rollins leads off first, and a throw over. I am surprised he bunted there. I just thought Jimmy would look for a fastball and take a healthy swing.
Well, it looked like they put a bunt on.
Yeah, they did. I figure he wouldn't have done it on his own. Fastball for a strike.
Now, as hard as he throws, his times, there you go, 99, 151, 162, which means you can run on him, which is a little bit surprising, but I guess his delivery's slow. Throw the ball that hard, you think his times would be a little quicker.
Pierre late, fouls it back. It's 0-2, 99 on that pitch.
The other thing about bunting on him is it's really hard to bunt on him because he throws so hard, and that ball was bunted really hard, and Polanco doesn't run very well. Move.
2 outs here in the 9th inning. And now it's Chase Utley's turn.
That one said 102.
102 is correct.
Yeah, and that's true. You know, sometimes he's great. Everywhere you see this guy pitch, he does that.
I don't know how he goes after Utley here. If he goes after with a fastball, if he starts it with a slider. He threw fastball to Pierre thinking he can get it by him. Utley's got a little different bat speed. Don't forget, it's Martinez who's on deck instead of Ryan Howard. That ball just jumps at you.
Oh, he's a freak of nature. Be able to do what he does. And he controls it. That's the other thing. You know, he's gotten to the point now where he has an idea.
Well, he's going to shatter, if everything stays the same, the record for strikeouts per 9 innings in a season. He's at 16.4. There goes Rollins. Pitches in the dirt. Hannigan's throw is high, and Jimmy's in scoring position.
It's a good job to do that. We talked about his times that you can run on him. And they decide to take a shot there. And now you have the tying run in scoring position where they have to bring their outfielders in more, a little closer. Now a little blooper or something to tie the game.
Chris Spire is aligning the defense. They've got Cozart back behind second base. He was in shallow center. Now he's walking in a little bit just to keep Rollins close.
Yeah, that's leaving a lot of room on that left side for a guy that throws this hard where you could hit one. And no, Utley's been pulling all night, but this isn't the easiest guy to pull.
1 ball, 1 strike the count. There goes Rollins to third, no throw. So now a wild pitch and he can score. Gosh, I thought Hannigan was going to throw that for a second.
Yeah, and that would be really silly if he'd have thrown that. Nothing good could have happened there for the Reds if he threw that. Only bad. A lot more pressure.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. And the ball game is over. Phillies got the tying run over to third here in the 9th inning, but Aroldis Chapman records the save. He picks up back-to-back strikeouts, and the Reds have taken game 2 by a final 5-4. Well, the Phillies showed an awful lot of heart in this ball game to keep on battling back, but the young guys for the Reds showed some heart as well. Zach Cozart, his home run turned out to be the game winner for Cincinnati in the top of the 9th inning against Jonathan Papelbon. So he is our Chevrolet player of the game. So Pap suffers the loss in tonight's ball game, a game in which the Phillies banged out 11 hits and they lose it 5-4. 5-4 the final score. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.